Just 7 regular rounds to go in Super League 2014, and a place at the top of Super League awaits tonight's winners. In 19 league visits to Headingley, the Castleford Tigers have only ever won twice. But with the prospect of a first ever top 4 finish in sight, the Tigers will be hungrier than ever to get one over their rivals tonight.
What a try that is! Watkins, what a pass! Great beat, and Sneed is over for the Tigers. This is Callum Watkins.
And we make no apologies for the fact that this is the 3rd week in a row that we've seen the Castleford Tigers, because they have been a breath of fresh air in Super League this year. The team that maybe will challenge the game's establishment, and that's exactly what they do here at Headingley against the traditional big hitters, the Leeds Rhinos. Now, not many teams score 44 points and win a game and then drop down the league table, but that's exactly what happened to Castleford last week. Despite beating Huddersfield with a degree of style, they dropped out of the top 4 for the first time this season when Warrington piled on the points against now relegated London. However, for both Castleford and Leeds tonight, the top of the table beckons, at least for 24 hours. Because the remaining fixtures offer more chance of a change at the top. Widnes, Warrington and Wigan Hull both kick off at 8 tomorrow. On Saturday, the league leaders are in London at 3, and at 5 our time, Catalan Dragons play the Wakefield Wildcats, the first time under James Webster that they have had to travel. 2 more on Sunday at 3 wrap up another first utility Super League weekend when Huddersfield host Bradford, who must win to delay relegation, and Hull Kingston Rovers entertain the Salford Red Devils. Right, round 21 it is. The teams have been declared for tonight's Battle of Headingley, and this is the way Leeds line up, straight back into the side after a 5-match suspension. The fullback Zach Hardacre. Then it's Briscoe, Watkins, Moon and Hall, Sinfield the skipper, and Maguire is the scrum half. And the forwards for Leeds, Luluai, Ayton and Peacock in a familiar looking front row, Stevie Ward, Carl Ablett in the second row, Brett Delaney at loose forward, and on the interchange bench for the Rhinos, Rob Burrow, Jamie Jones-Buchanan, Ryan Bailey and Mitch Achurch, and the coach of course is Brian McDermott. Now for the Tigers of Castleford, Luke Dawn coming back into the side at full-back for them. Otherwise, this is the back line that beat Huddersfield last week. Dixon, Webster, Shenton the skipper and Carney, Sneed. He moves then to stand off alongside Liam Finn. He was full-back last week. And the forwards, Lynch, Milner gets a start, Dewitt, Holmes, Haraki and Millington. And on the bench for Castleford, it's Hubie, Massey, Clark and Mariano. Some talent there for coach Darryl Powell. And so welcome to hot and humid Headingley. We have conditions here tonight that are bound to affect the players of both sides. It's a scorcher, and this should be a truly memorable match. And you know, all the pundits in Super League, just as they were 12 months ago, waiting for Huddersfield to slip up rather, as they race towards the league leaders' shield, so now they're waiting for the Castleford bubble to burst. But so far in 2014, that hasn't happened. I wonder if it will burst tonight, or whether the Tigers will push on for a famous win at Headingley. Let's get the early thoughts of our 2 experts waiting for us at the touchscreen. There they are, the dynamic duo, John and Brian.
And you got the names right this week, Eddie. Look, all the pundits predicting a great game here tonight as well, but more importantly, the coaches as well. Brian McDermott, the Leeds Rhinos coach, said this is the biggest Castleford Leeds game that he's been involved in since he's been head coach here at Headingley. And Darryl Powell, he's called this a landmark game for his side. Why a landmark game for Castleford when they're 1 win away from going top of the table? Well, they need to know they can come to places like Headingley and win games. They went to Wigan in the Cup and won. They got a big challenge coming up against Warrington away and Catalan Dragons away. John, my question to you is, Leeds are usually a formidable outfit here, no different this year, but there seems to be something extra that you have to do to beat the Leeds Rhinos of 2014. What is that?
And that's taken time, and we'll come back to that in a second. There's a reason why Leeds are where they are in the table after 20 rounds. And it's not just because of that quota of exceptional attacking players, and there are many in this squad. This has been a season for Leeds defined around defence, by defence. It has been miserly, it has been mean. Statistic for you. They have conceded 261 points in 20 league games. On average, that's 13 points per game, around 13 points per game, which is frankly astonishing. If they carry on at that rate to the end of the regular season, and there's no reason why they can't or won't, they will finish up conceding in the region of 350 points, which is by 55 points better than any other team in Super League in the last decade. And that gives you some idea about what they're doing. Now, that's not to say they're not missing tackles. They do. They miss plenty. They sit 7th in the table in terms of tackles. What they do have is a very, very committed and organised scramble defence. Let's have a look at some of the high points during the season. Round 2, this is against Warrington. First of all, look where Zach Hardacre is. And then, as the plays go on, you've got to ask yourself what these guys are thinking. There is a stubbornness, a meanness about this defence. And this, I think, coming up is one of the tackles of the season, albeit in round 2. I think Brian McDermott said in the post-match interview at the end of that, he put his pen down, he expected that to be a try. One thing we're going to stop for you, this is an experienced winger. Steals and anticipates that kick coming through to finish off a great piece of defensive work and a great defensive set from Leeds.
Is this significantly different from the Leeds Rhinos of yesteryear?
I think it's incrementally better, and that comes back to the point where we say it's taken time. This is a group of individuals that have bought into a culture at Leeds. They're not panicking. They are very intelligent about the signings they make. They make people buy into the club. This was an example from round 11. We just saw an example from round 4 against Huddersfield. We showed this at half-time and at full-time. I remember here, back in round 11 against Wigan. There is no reason why there should be 5 Leeds defenders scrambling back and only one other Wigan player in support there. It's absolutely exceptional. As I said, it's more about the culture. This isn't just about stopping individuals. This was last week, by the way, against Hull KR. This isn't just about stopping individuals, the physical act of stopping individuals from scoring. Well, of course it is, but it's more than that, as it's between the ears. And it's a culture that every single one of this Leeds Rhino squad buy into, and it has taken time to foster and develop and grow and be nurtured within this club. And they're now in a situation where, as I said, statistically, I mean, that's an absolutely outstanding.
If you do beat them, they've lost 5 games this season, once by 18 points to Warrington Wolves, but in the next 4 games by no more than 4 points. That's a remarkable figure. So if you do get over the top of them, it's never going to be by much.
Yeah, and they showed last week again against Hull KR. I think there was an hour played, wasn't there, before any score was made during the match, and that just showed again they outstayed their opposition in terms of their resilience in defence.
And we haven't forgotten about Castleford as well. They are having a fabulous season. As Eddie said at the start, they win tonight and they will go top of the table. They're sitting in 5th at the moment, but just 1 point behind the Leeds Rhinos. Leeds Rhinos in 2nd. So looking at the table, 2nd and 5th, only a point between them. Everything is looking good. But if we look beyond the table, we can speak to Phil Clark now, and he's done just that. Phil, what are the other gauges of the success of both the Leeds Rhinos and the Castleford Tigers this season that have so impressed you?
Brian, you're right. The league table is the ultimate measurement tool, but there are some numbers behind that which usually have a big bearing on where teams finish. The 3 most important things in winning a game of rugby league are the number of breaks your team can make, the amount of metres they can gain, and the number of tackles that they can limit or restrict their miss. Here's a summary of that and where these sides rank. It isn't surprising that the winners tonight go top, because Leeds have made more metres than any other side, and the Tigers more breaks than any other team in Super League. 2 of the most important areas. These 2 sides are leaders in this competition. And in terms of breaks, Castleford have been sensational. Darryl Clark, Michael Shenton, Luke Dawn lead the way for them. And for meters, well, it's Jamie Peacock, Tom Briscoe, Ryan Hall are the 3 standout players for Leeds. Do you know, in recent weeks, no side in Super League have had a better tackle success rate than the Leeds Rhinos in the last 4 Super League games. Okay, they used to miss a lot, but they're not doing as much of that these days, and it's obviously going to be their aim to do that over the remaining games of the season. I wonder, John, if you could just pull in some recent action to further demonstrate here what I'm saying. You know, there has to be priority 1 tonight for the Castleford side is to stop the wingers and fullback when Leeds have the ball. They get them out of trouble and they continually get their side rolling forward. And then, well, restrict whatever Jamie Peacock does with the ball. It's not easy, but he often takes the side forward in the middle of the field. And obviously on the other wing, Tom Briscoe's a hand to deal with. But it's not as though one side have got this all their own way. If Darryl Clark makes a break, invariably he has the speed and ability to turn it into a try more than perhaps any other player in this competition. And I'm sure at every play of the ball that he stands behind, there'll be a red alert sign. Michael Shinton's had a great season, and he's also combined very well with Luke Dawn on this occasion to score a try. But those 2 other players are ones who are capable of hurting and inflicting some pain. You know, when you think back to round 12 when these sides met at Castleford, it was a great game. very even in many, many ways. Only one area did the stats differ, and that was in terms of the completion rate. You know, Castleford made 6 errors more than the visitors that night, and look at the difference, the impact that had on the game. It meant that the Rhinos had the ball for 30 play the balls more than the home side. Do you know, Castleford haven't lost a game this season when they've had 50% of the possession or more. If there's a fair share, they usually go home winners and they'll give themselves a great chance. Last week, what was interesting about the Leeds performance on this ground, never before this season have they played with such width. They passed the ball wide to the left and wide to the right whenever, and they dragged their opponents, Hull KR on that occasion, all over the field for just over an hour, until ultimately at the end the cracks appeared, and it was the fast players in the middle of the pitch who actually hurt the Hull KR side on that occasion. It'll be interesting to see again whether, with the outside backs Leeds have got, they play with that sort of width, because they'll have to play well to beat the Castleford Tigers.
Yeah, thanks very much, Phil. It's a great game to reference that win against the Hull Kingston Rovers, 30 points to 6. And I'm sure that's why Darryl Powell said this is a landmark game. Hull Kingston Rovers were, as Phil says, in a grind for 60 minutes. No scores on the board before Leeds Rhinos kicked away with the game. And I'm sure he's looking for his Castleford side and that great attack they have to be able to do the same. Take your opportunities when they come, even if it takes an hour for them to present themselves.
Certainly. I think the first point to make is, like Eddie said at the top of the show, that cliff edge that everyone was expecting for Castleford never came, did it? I think they've established themselves now as genuine contenders this season. They have played some of the most expansive and creative rugby league that I've seen and the fans down at Weldon Road have seen for many, many years. But they have relied, as Phil alluded to, on the likes of some individual brilliance from...
As most teams do, though, to be fair.
Yes, from Darryl Clark, from Mark Sneed, from Luke Dawn, from Michael Shenton. I'm sure Darryl Powell would prefer that if they got through games with using their structure a little more. Today, for me, comes down to a key area, and that's in the halves. If the combination of Sneed and Finn, if those boys are on, I don't think there's many people on terms of form this season who can touch them.
Have those halves been on in recent weeks?
This is the key point, because I think certainly, and Darryl Powell said this at the start of that full-time rather, about his first half performance from his halfbacks. Jamie Ellis here, perhaps a reason why he's not involved today. Here's Jamie Ellis, a low percentage play for me. He's going for himself, doesn't involve anybody else. If they try this, and if they set themselves up as flat as they are here against Leeds, they will get absolutely nothing from that setup tonight. Now, you could argue that was a great read from Leroy Cudjoe. I think the players weren't deep enough. Again, another argument you can make is that Luke Dawn, the regular fullback, wasn't in the team. Perhaps the depth would have come from him. But they may do from plays like this. Now, this is a switch across the back of the ruck. And we're looking here at the non-working side of the ruck, who just momentarily switch off. And if Leeds have a weakness, have a chink in that defensive armour, it is maybe that. Castleford found them out in round 12. This is from round 19. Wakefield did them at home. This was the very last play of the game. And it took them to the last play of the game to unlock them. But perhaps there's something there for them to look at. What I prefer is to have a look at some really well-crafted attacking play. First of all, key amongst that, Liam Finn taking the ball right to the line, committing defenders, making defenders make decisions. And if he does that, and his half-back partner, Mark Sneed, does that as well, then Castleford have the ability to get over and score points. If they play like they did in the first half, and if they are not organised from the outset, they will get nothing from this evening. Do
you think they've got a great ability to mix that structure with that off-the-cuff play? I'll give you a figure from the last time they played the Leeds Rhinos. Only 3 breaks to each team in the game, but 12 offloads to the Castleford Tigers and just 2 to the Leeds Rhinos. So perhaps the Castleford Tigers and some of the big boppers that we see now preparing for the game, willing to throw the ball, willing to offload the ball at every opportunity and allow themselves play off that platform.
I would say, to counter that, I would say that the Rhinos will be very, very confident, as they have been and as we've shown you, in their scramble defence all season. They don't seem to mind missing the odd tackle. They're going to get back and they're going to stop them. So Castleford are going to have to be on the absolute top game this evening to be able to get anything from this.
OK, Brian McDermott's biggest game in charge of the Leeds Rhinos against the Castleford Tigers. Who wins and by how much, John?
Leeds at a squeak.
Leeds at a squeak. Well, that'll be going with the facts and figures that we've discussed already. Back to you, Eddie.
Thanks very much, Brian, John and Phil. OK, you've heard from those 3. We've already heard that the teams are as they are. So let's now go outside again, down to the dressing room area and see what's making the gossip in that part of the world. And there he is, the man who has his ear to the ground each and every time he's with us, Rod Stodd.
Thanks, Eddie. I'll tell you what, it is absolutely lovely down here tonight. Beautiful evening, the kind of summer's evening that the founding fathers of Super League must have had in mind when they switched the game to the summer, getting on for 2 decades ago. You know, the thermometer was touching 28 degrees mid-afternoon here at Headingley in Leeds. It's now down to a much more manageable 22 degrees Celsius, and there's a nice gentle breeze blowing down the pitch. It's perfect playing conditions, and on this perfect playing surface, there should be plenty of points on the agenda. And an interesting contrast, as John and Phil were alluding to there, Leeds Rhinos far and away the best defence in the competition against the Castleford Tigers, who scored plenty of points. Only Wigan have scored more than them, so interesting to see that contrast. You mentioned the returning stars for the Rhinos, Eddie, and the high-profile return is, of course, of Zach Hardacre after his headline-grabbing suspension for using homophobic language back at the beginning of June in the Warrington game. And Hardacre's been talking this week about just wanting to get back to playing rugby, saying it was the wrong time, the wrong place, and the wrong words that he used, and that he had learnt his lesson. It'll be very interesting to see how he gets on in his first game back, with Castleford sure to throw plenty at him. And as far as the Tigers are concerned, I've been chatting to their coaching duo of Danny Orr and Daryl Powell, both very relaxed here, taking in some of the sunshine. It's been a busy week for the Tigers already. They've signed Lee Jewett on a longer contract at the club, and also picked up Denny Solomona for next season from the relegated London Broncos. But tonight, their focus is on this game against Leeds, and why wouldn't it be, with the incentive that's there for both sides, and that is to end the evening's entertainment top of the Super League table. Back to you, Eddie.
Thanks, Rod. I'm glad you mentioned Daryl Powell, who's there with the players of Castleford and just having a last word with them as they complete their preparations. Because I'd like to talk about Daryl to Tony and Steve-O now. The boys have all talked about what's going to happen on the field, Tony. This man here, well, he's steeped in Leeds history. He was a great player for the club. He coached the club. That was his first Super League coaching appointment. Then he got the flick. Tony Smith came in. He played rugby union for the Leeds Tykes, I think, as they were called then. Now he's back in a leading coach in Super League. How big a match is it for Daryl Powell tonight?
It's huge, and that experience you're talking about is really grounding to be ready for occasions like this. He's had some great adversity. He's had his fight his way through to get to this position. Plenty of people, as coaches, would have quit on themselves by now, given the career he had and the path he's had to get to the success you're talking about now. And plenty of people wouldn't have given up on him as well. He must be wonderful, thankful to the people at Cass for giving him the job and giving him the opportunity he's had there. We do have to listen to what the coaches have said in the build-up. They know how big this game is. This is a really tight competition. You know, we know how short the distance is between the top 5 teams, and you have to fight now. You can't wait till the playoffs. You've got to get in front in these games. You have to assert your dominance now. Castleford have to do that inside of this game. That's why they're building up, and you could see from Daryl, they're not just saying that. They mean that. You saw, I don't know if you saw the shots earlier, Brian McDermott, very animated with both his halves. You know, clearly these guys know what this game is. You know, it's a huge game inside of their seasons.
Yes, it is. And Steve-O, you know, these two sides still fighting away, battling away on all 3 fronts. They could be league leaders, they could be cup winners, they could be grand final winners come the end of the season. The 2 of them, they could all win. Both of them could win the treble. You're a difficult man to get money out of. You need a spanner to get a 50 pence out of your palm normally. Would you have put your hard-earned farthings on Castleford being in this position at this stage of the season back in February?
No. And that is probably why Daryl Powell has done such a fine job. You know, the best factor I can think of when a coach talks about a team. Now, they played exceptionally well last week. They took Huddersfield apart. They knew they had it won. And yet, when we interviewed Daryl Powell after the game, he was disappointed. And I'll tell you why he was disappointed. Because they had their foot on the throat of the Giants, and they did not finish them off. And he realizes, look, he's been around a long time as Daryl Powell. He realizes that being a good player, you have to come to a point. If you're going to win trophies, when you have the opposition down on their knees, you slay them, you kill them, you finish them off. He was so disappointed that they didn't do that. And that is such a major factor, because the players have got so much respect. He tells them to do things. But there are times when you've done wonderful 3-quarter work, you score great tries. We see Daryl Clark run the length of the field and everybody applauds. Then there's a time to say, right, we shut down, we close down. Forget about all the fancy work. This is hard stuff. And Daryl Powell realizes when they come to this Challenge Cup semi-final, they know there's going to be a time in that game. They may be 5 or luckily maybe 12 points ahead, and that is when they close the game down. They have to control it. But it's going to be so interesting with both coaches tonight, because psychologically this is going to be a wonderful blow for the team that loses. It's going to be a great, great feeling for the coach to think that we have come against it. Leeds will be very, very happy with the fact it was 0-0 against Hull Kingston Rovers last week. All they've got, guess what? Rob Barrow. He is going to be the key factor tonight. He's waiting on the bench. He came on last week, changed the game. He's such a wonderful player, but it's his ability at dummy half that makes him so important. You know, the opposition defence, sometimes first and second markers, they can be slow. They say, well, he's not going to run from there. When Rob Barrow comes in, he goes bang and takes them on.
Okay, there we are. We're just about ready for all this talking to stop and the match itself to begin. But when we come back, we'll have just a little bit more talking from two of the stars of the show tonight. From the Castleford Tigers, we will hear from Andy Lynch. From the Leeds Rhinos, we'll be hearing from Danny Maguire.
Castleford have got a good pack, so it'll be important for us to get on top there. And you know, I think obviously both teams have got, you know, some exciting outside backs. So I think it'll be an exciting game.
We'd love to beat them, and everybody talks about Leeds being one of the best teams in the comp. So if we can compete with them and win them games, it proves we're up there this year.
The winners. The team news first. Well, it was a difficult decision to leave Ben Jones-Bishop out, says coach Brian McDermott, but Zach Hardacre was the best fullback in the competition before his 5-match suspension, and so Zach goes straight back into the starting lineup. Otherwise, the backs are unchanged from last week's win over Hull KR. The big guns are starting to return for Leeds, and so the youngsters who've served them so well recently take a back seat for now. Kylie Luluai plays his first game in 4, and Brett Delaney drops back to loose forward to replace the impressive teenager Josh Walters. Some familiar faces are back on the substitutes bench too. Rob Burrow returned last week, turned the game with 2 tries against Hull KR. Jamie Jones-Buchanan and Ryan Bailey both come back into the side, also after missing last week. Now Castleford, and Luke Dawn returns at fullback, having been omitted for the win against Huddersfield, which means that Mark Sneed takes up his usual role in the halves alongside Liam Finn. In the pack, Adam Milner gets a rare start at hooker. That's because Darryl Clark has been in such great form, and Lee Jewett, he starts at prop, celebrating the fact that he's just signed a new 2-year extension to his Castleford contract. Wella Hiraki is a former Leeds Rhinos star. And it is a very talented looking interchange bench. Darryl Clark has been grabbing the headlines lately, and only Elliot Whitehead of the Catalan Dragons has scored more tries among the forwards in the Super League. So Michael Shenton leads Castleford out, and some pundits believe that Castleford's inexperience at dealing with the pressures of the business end of the season might cost them before the end of the year. But people have been writing them off all the way through this campaign, ever since they began with 5 straight wins to go joint top with Saints. And it's certainly not concerning Darryl Powell, his players, or those supporters. Leeds, if they win, they'll go top. So will Castleford, by the way, at least until maybe Friday night. Widnes Warrington, Wigan Hull, Saturday London against St Helens. They're the matches that could affect things at the top of the table. Kevin Sinfield's men just 1 home defeat all year on a Thursday night against Huddersfield last month. But this team does know how to win when the chips are down. They're 1 point behind St Helens. They've been a touch inconsistent since their defeat by a weakened Wigan side at the Magic Weekend. The pitch is in magnificent condition. We're in high summer. This is going to be a match of high drama. Ben Thaler, the match referee, blows the whistle. Kirk Dixon gets us underway, and it has been a mouth-watering match in Prospect this for a week or two.
Certainly has, Eddie, and you think about Kylie Luluai, Jamie Peacock against Lee Jewett and Andy Lynch, and this will be a bone cruncher. No doubt about that, and that's the reason why I feel that Darryl Powell has thrown him Adam Milner to start, rather than give him the option of Darryl Clark.
Jamie Peacock with a big early error.
Well, that's priority 1, isn't it? Stop Peacock from taking the side forward. Not only did they do that, they've come up with possession. First chance to attack, great defence by the Tigers.
So here they come with Sneed, and he gets a flat pass to Michael Shenton. Shenton is grounded by his opposite number, Callum Watkins. Milner then to Sneed. Sneed finds Lynch. Lynch to Finn. Haraki trying to go through the gap. Wonderful tackle low down by Joel Moon. Liam Finn brings it back in the centre field underneath those sticks, and Andy Lynch is going nowhere under defence like that.
Got to be a kick surely to the winger, Tom Briscoe. They'll put him under pressure.
Sneed goes high. Ball's knocked back by Carney. This could be a try for Shenton. It's going to go upstairs to the video referee, so in the opening minute or so of this match, we get the first video referee decision. Steve Ganson is the operator. Phil Bentham is the man who'll make the decision. Stuart Cummings is the man who'll talk us through it.
Well, referee Ben Thaler is asked to make sure that no Leeds player was interfered with on the way through. Certainly from the kick, it's come from a kick, they have to check that. All the players are onside outside him who are chasing the ball, so there's no problem with that. It's just a case of whether anybody was interfered with on the way through and what happens to the ball. Well, there's certainly nobody interfered that I can see there. It's a fair challenge by Carney. If it comes off Carney, it goes backwards in my opinion. If it comes off a Leeds player, it doesn't matter. So in my view, I think this is going to be a try. I think it clearly goes backwards off there. The challenge is a fair one. There'll be no reason to disallow this one.
Well, I don't think he's made contact, and it was what everybody expected.
Are they looking to see? Sorry, if it went forward off Carney onto the Leeds player, that would be a knock-on.
Well, that would be the only thing that could stop this try. But I think it goes off Carney, onto Briscoe, and then back to Carney. So, as far as Castleford are concerned, everything is fine here.
Well, as I said, we all knew they put pressure on Tom Briscoe, and this would be confirmation, surely. They're looking for the ground, and this will be TRY. And what an opening for the Tigers.
Yeah, the try is given to Michael Shenton. 5th in a row in the centre. 14 tries now in Super League. Back to his brilliant best. He was an England international from 2008, 2011. And this all came about as a result of a rare mistake from the ever-dependable Jamie Peacock.
Yeah, under a lot of pressure by the loose forward, Grant Millington. The kick from Mark Sneed was superb. Briscoe couldn't handle it, but one man was always there. What a season this guy's having. Michael Shenton gets a new try early in the game.
We've had a look at the decision. The execution of the kick was outstanding, wasn't it? Straight to the corner, right where it had to be. Wonderful contest from Carney. They've come up with a beautiful try early.
Behind his own post, Jamie Peacock looks a little bit perplexed and a little bit annoyed that the mistake that he made has led to that try. Trying to rally the troops. Here comes Mark Sneed to try and give Castleford the perfect start, and he does exactly that. And the Castleford Tigers bandwagon keeps rolling along. They lead early at Headingley against the Leeds Rhinos 6-0.
Yeah, perfect start from. Let's have a look at the execution of skill. Beautifully weighted kick, right on the money. Beautiful contest from Carney. Shenton was there and available. It's a wonderful start. Cass have to deal with that start now. They've got it all handed their way. Drop ball from Peacock, kick try on the last tackle. Now it's time to start grinding and digging it out. That was exactly what they didn't want. That's exactly what we're talking about. Now they've got to deal with some pressure. An error on the kickoff catch.
Yes, Kirk Dixon coming up with a mistake.
Yeah, definitely a knock-on, no doubt in my mind. He's facing the opposition. Well, that really was a bad attempt by Kirk Dixon. It sometimes happens. In fact, it happens quite a lot in regards, you know, you've got the euphoria, you've got the adrenaline going through your body, you've just scored the try, and you just switch off for that vital second. And I'm afraid Kirk Dixon did that. Golden opportunity now for the Rhinos to maybe equal the scoreline.
Well, Ben Thaler had a long, hard look at that before he blew the whistle. Here is Zach Hardacre back in the side for the first game after a 5-game suspension. Peacock now trying to make amends for that earlier mistake. The Tigers taking a lead here in the opening couple of minutes, just as they did at Widnes a couple of weeks ago. Here is Maguire. This is Hardacre. Man out wide. It bounced off. Oh, it bounced off Moon. If Webster had picked that up, that would have been a try for all money.
He knows it as well.
I don't think he'd have made 90 metres with some of the Leeds players chasing him.
He had a little bit of support round him.
Yeah, you could see that the Leeds players had already committed themselves.
Dixon was away as well.
Yeah. Ryan Hall, he would have had to turn round, but it wasn't the best pass, was it? And I tell you what, Jake Webster, he's thinking, I'm going 80 metres here.
Well, it would be a remarkable thing if he did, but Dixon was certainly there in support. Anyway, they breathe a sigh of relief to Castleford, having dropped out of the top 4 for the first time this year, following London's capitulation at Warrington. It's only points difference then that keeps them 5th, but they are 5th. How many teams in Super League score 44 points then drop a place down the ladder? Seems unfair, doesn't it?
Well, good pressure there by Tom Briscoe. And they knew it as well, and you could see Michael Shenton sort of just saying to Carney, well, we got mixed up here. I thought you were going to come late, and Carney had already gone.
Problems for Leeds, by the way. Kevin Sinfield is limping rather heavily. He's got the ball in his hand here. He's going to feed this scrum, but he has limped his way towards this scrum. And there's something not right with Kevin Sinfield. Here, meanwhile, is Briscoe. Briscoe trying to go inside Webster and Finn. Finn was the man who got to him.
Sinfield trying to just run it off. There been just a slight strain. Oh, what a big hit again. Grant Millington put himself about.
Yes, Luluai felt that. Luluai gets to his feet now. Peacock will drive it in once again. 18, 17 metres away from the Tigers' goal line. 3 tackles gone. Ayton waits. Goes down the short side with Maguire. That was the call. Short ball from him then to Joel Moon. 2 tackles left in this set for the Tigers now. Here it is with Carl Ablett. He finds Peacock. Peacock then back to Maguire. Maguire gives it to Sinfield. Sinfield to Hardacre. Great hands. Watkins, even better hands from Hardacre to pick it up. And Castleford in the shape of Oliver Holmes snuff out the danger. This is the last tackle coming up for Castleford. As Stevie Ward fires the pass to Sinfield. He floats it wide, looking for Ryan Hall. Hall gets it. Ablett. Oh, and it was so close. It might still be a try to Paul Ayton. It's another check coming up from the video referees.
Yeah, he wants to know who made first contact.
Who made the first knock on?
Yeah.
Well, sometimes you can wait for hours, Stuart, for video referees. Then, like the London buses, they come along 2 at once.
Yes, two very quick calls, but it's reflective of the game probably. It's a crucial game, so you know the referee wants to make sure it's correct. So he wants to know who makes the first knock on. Is it Castleford or is it Leeds? Who knocks the ball on? Because Leeds did end up with the ball over the line. So was there a knock on there as the ball went across by the player on the floor? I think that's what they're looking at. It certainly comes off Danny Maguire and goes forward.
That's a knock on there, I feel.
That's a knock on from Danny Maguire.
Yeah.
So I suppose it's just on the restart now. Does the Castleford player get his hand to it on the ground? Is it Jake Webster? I don't think there's any touch there. I think the first knock-on's by Danny Maguire there. It's on his hand and moves forward. So that'll be a knock-on. That'll be a well, it'll be a handover because it's last tackle.
Was Ryan Hall tackled in the air? Is there any debate about that?
Well, it was very, very, very close, but I don't think they've even looked at that. They've moved on. They've gone to the question the video referee has.
No try, handover.
Knock on then by Danny Maguire. Meanwhile, Kevin Sinfield on his back in back play, having manipulation on what looks like a knee injury or an ankle injury, probably a knee.
Well, there you saw the backward pass there from Ablett, and Maguire couldn't take it in. That's a good decision by the video referees.
So Castleford maintain their 6 points to 0 advantage, but they begin this set of 6 deep inside their own half, as you can see. And Lynch trying to work the ball upfield for them now, but not going terribly far, courtesy of the tackle from Brett Delaney and Peacock. Here comes Justin Carney. He's come in off the flank. No, it's not. It's Grant Millington. Beg your pardon. And Sneed goes for a 40-20. Hardacre, though, wasn't the best kick. Came off the outside of the boot. And Hardacre was there to snuff the danger out.
Yeah, not the best contact there by Mike Sneed, but I was very impressed with the way that Sneed was controlling the forwards. Said, look, we're going to kick early, get straight into him. That was a big hit there by Haraki, wasn't it? They're putting themselves about at the Tigers, that is for sure.
That's a really important part of this game. If you look at the bench from Castleford, where they've got Hubie Massey and importantly Darryl Clark to come on, they had to start early and start well, Leeds, because it's going to get tougher this half as it goes. And Leeds are really doing it tough. The aggression is coming from from Cass, and Kevin Sinfield's definitely wounded. He's not moving well. He's not a threat himself. It's making it difficult for the rest of the team to attack from.
Well, here's the threat posed by Zach Hardaker, but he goes down on tackle number 5. 18 metres away from the line again. Ayton then to Maguire. Maguire will kick to the corner, looking for Tom Briscoe this way. And Briscoe claims it and scores a try. Well, he rose above Justin Carney then. And Tom Briscoe, well, he's had a bit of a barren spell in terms of scoring tries. He's been on this wing for the last 8. He's only scored once, and he hasn't actually scored here at Headingley since the defeat of Wigan here on the 2nd of May. But he's just reached double figures for the season. 10 tries and an important riposte from the Rhinos.
And this is the reason why you kick into the corner. Look at the lengthening shadows there. The sun would have been right in the face of Justin Carney, and that allowed Tom Briscoe to reach high. It was a wonderful kick there by Danny Maguire. There you see the sunshine, and as he twists around, Tom Briscoe, and as Eddie has already mentioned, he's been a little bit off colour of late, but that will build his confidence.
5 tries in the first 3 rounds for Tom Briscoe, and it went slightly off the bubble, but now 10 for the season. The 19-time England international, and this is interesting now because Sinfield has been hobbling, he has been, and as you can see, he's doing some sort of stretches to try and ease whatever problem he's got. He's had some manipulation on the field as well, but Sinfield, the kicker-in-chief, Hardaker can kick a goal, of course, but it's being left with Kevin Sinfield for the time being, and it'll be interesting to see just how much the early injury has affected Kevin Sinfield. 5 from 5 against Hull Kingston Rovers. Last week it was his first appearance following a couple out. Well, normally you would say that this is a certain 2 points. And whether he's got a wounded wing or not, it is another certain 2 points. Scores a level. Leeds 6, Castleford 6.
On their level, the points advantage is level on the wings, isn't it? With both kicks going to the corner. Carney jumped over the top of Briscoe. That sun, and Carney was actually catching kicks in warm-up down in the far corner with the sun behind his back. And when he's actually come up into the game, he's had to deal with that sun.
So an early try for Castleford, now cancelled out by that try for Leeds. We've had 2 tries in the opening 10 minutes. I mean, a bit of a contrast to last week when Leeds were held 0-0 for the best part of an hour by Hull KR here last Friday. Then they brought Rob Burrow, the substitute, on. He turned the match with a couple of tries.
Yeah, we mentioned John Wells made it quite clear before the kickoff when he was analysing the way that Leeds and their defence has been pretty solid, in as much that it's great respect from both coaches to understand both those tries have come from kicks, and that gives you some indication on both these sides. They know how to defend pretty rugged throughout the game.
Kevin Sinfield was outside the 40-metre line. His kick bounces nicely for Kirk Dixon. He punches it safely this time, but only gets as far as Joel Moon. Liam Finn.
Interesting there, Eddie. You know, the kick through, and there are still Castleford players walking back to get onside. Now, it has been very humid today. Maybe that could take its toll. They were very slow, the Tigers.
Maybe just conserving the energy, Steve-O, because we're very early into the match, and as you say, it's 20 degrees plus. Rod Studd gave us a very nice weather report before the match. There is a pleasant breeze blowing, but this sun has still got some heat in it, even though it's setting behind the trees and the houses away to our left, this left-hand side of Headingley. High kick here from Sneed. Hardaker just goes into reverse and then gets the ball in arms and is brought to ground by 3 tacklers. Sneed pulls away quickly.
Interesting there. Brian McDermott, obviously, as far as I'm concerned, has stelled Zach Hardaker. Look, Castleford going to pinpoint Tom Briscoe, and he put Zach Hardaker in that wing position for when that kick was put into that corner. That's smart work from the coach.
Yes, Brian McDermott, he knows that, and he has said that it's probably the biggest match between these 2 clubs for a generation. And there's nothing Castleford like better than to upset their big city neighbours. And there is Darryl Powell, former star on this pitch, former coach too. He didn't do a bad job early on in his coaching career at Leeds, but left them.
Sometimes teams need an extra motivational reason to get up for a match. You play 27 league games, and perhaps the element of difference here, the fact that they've only won 3 times in 18 visits to Tigers. As you say, players like Willa Haraki were effectively released. They were said, Leeds more or less said, listen, you're not good enough to play here. They released him, he's gone to another club. There's extra motivation for the coach, for some of the players, and I think that an inspiration here. They've ridden well, and every week people like myself keep thinking the bubble will burst. A win here, I'm sure, would confirm to me and everybody else that they are capable of getting to the grand final.
Well, when you consider the progress has been remarkable this year, here is a penalty because Jewett was tackled as he was trying to get up and play the ball. As I say, here is the penalty and the reason it's been given. The progress has been unbelievable. 3rd bottom of Super League at the end of last year. I said at the top of the show, they really have been a breath of fresh air this season. And it's the 3rd weekend in a row we're watching them, Steve-O. There'd be no complaints from me if we saw them every week between now and grand final. They're tremendous to watch.
Yeah, and I tell you what, the Castleford fans, they've come out in their thousands as well. They must be happy. It's been a long time since they've been able to call themselves Classic Cass.
Here they come.
That's good build-up, you know. It's something that Daryl Powell, he always maintains. The back inside pass, it's always on, always an ability.
And Grant Millington looked to slip the pass, but surrounded by blue and amber jerseys, can't get the ball away. So Adam Milner goes into dummy half, 5 metres away from the line. Sneed to Finn. Long pass then to Luke Dawn. Loves to chime into the line, the full-back. Gives the ball then to Willa Haraki. How he took that round his ears and above his shoulder, I don't know.
That was great work by
Webster.
By Ryan Hall, though, on the big fella Webster.
Jewett. Milner again. Here is Finn. There's Dawn, slips the pass. Webster can't get it away. That was pulled back and stolen. I think that would have been 6 to go had the referee called play on, which he did, of course. Well, Stevie Ward.
That was good thinking by the second row, Ward. He realised that he diffused it, then got the quick tap, got away with him, and look where they got them in position.
Not good thinking by Castleford, though, was it? That was 6 to go. It was a strip, wasn't it? Strip backwards by Leeds. Would have been a knock-on, surely.
No, I think he'd offloaded out the back. They looked to the ref. Dawn looked to the ref, and then he hacked it. So I think it was play on him.
Yeah, the referee called last tackle. He'd continue with the tackle count. So as Tony was saying, the players looked at the referee and then kicked following that.
That tackle was never completed, was it, when that ball came out?
I'm with you, and to me, I thought that Ryan Hall dragged it out forward. Never mind, Rhinos will not be complaining. Kick from Sinfield again.
Yeah, tester for Dixon this, because he was underneath. It was Ryan Hall, and Ryan Hall's there for the return. Slips the pass brilliantly somehow. Keeps it going. Bailey! Ryan Bailey's just on, and Bailey has scored the try. Well, obviously Brian McDermott thinks that Kirk Dixon is weak link under the high ball. He spilled one from the kickoff after Castleford has scored. He's just been beaten in the air here by Ryan Hall. No disgrace in that. Others can be and have been. But they somehow kept this ball alive, and Ryan Bailey gets over for the try. Well, a rare try against Castleford in May as well. He made it to 300 there.
Well, this was a steal, and it went forward. And to me, that should have been a knock-on, and then he was knocked down. There's the kick. See, there's quick thinking here. Back on the inside, you've got to test your arm. And Bailey, they'll say, oh, Christmas has come early.
Yeah, wonderful play from Leeds. You've got to think where they got to this position. They defended fantastically. We spoke about that pre-game, how good they are defending their line. They work their way upfield, and they're scrambling harder. Cass, when they're on, make that tackle there. Cass would have defenders coming across to save that. The intensity of this game, the intensity of stepping up to these big ones, just caught them out in that moment. That's the lessons they've got to learn. And you mentioned, Eddie, about going to Dixon on the left-hand side. All of Leeds' plays is going that way. They are wearing out Finn, who couldn't get there to make the tackle on the inside. They are wearing out Webster. Leeds are going to really bruise Castleford down their right-hand side.
Well, Ryan Bailey's try, he made it to 300 appearances for the Rhinos against Castleford in May. He was on as a substitute, and he's just scored his 3rd try of the campaign here. Also coming on as a substitute. Nothing wrong with Sinfield, it would appear. Kicking as good as ever, and Leeds are ahead 12-6.
And it all came about by just keeping that ball alive, that second effort, which is ever so important. Look at this, Joel Moon, watch him scoop back on the inside, and then he gets himself in a position, and with one hand flips it up. Bailey says, uh-oh, pull the cracker. That's a 4-pointer.
So Castleford led, and Leeds have scored 2 quick tries to get themselves ahead in this match. Here comes Peacock again.
Tell you what, he didn't get far, did he? That was big, heavy hit.
And again, Steve, they go. There's an error there, but they're going to that left-hand side. They really are working over Webster, Finn and Dixon, sorry.
It's a mistake by Ablett, just lost the ball. So Castleford have it here with Weller Huraki. I noticed that Craig Hubie has also come onto the field as well. He's just standing inside Liam Finn. Finn ran past him, gave it to Sneed. Sneed then to Luke Dawn. Little drop of the shoulder from Dawn. Good tackling back in defence by Kevin Sinfield. Shenton to Sneed. Sneed then gets the pass to Millington again. He goes up the middle. Halted by Paul Ayton, the Papua New Guinea international. 10 metres away from the line.
Watch for the switch, Eddie. It's on.
Good ball from Sneed to Shenton again, but Leeds, this scrambling defence that's been a feature of 2014, brings him down. Oliver Holmes, not the best pass, it was around the ankles of Sneed. He takes the return though, does Mark Sneed, and then bumps the pass to Huraki. Fired out wide to Dixon, just stays in the field of play. Dixon gets through one, gets the ball away, and Huraki will touch down for the Castleford Tigers. Sweet moment for Weller Huraki. Formerly with Leeds, here for 2 seasons, he made 39 appearances, and the 29-year-old has just got his 3rd try of the campaign as well. Well, Castleford will not lie down. They've come back immediately after that try from Ryan Bailey, and Huraki has got this one.
Ablett, he loses it. No doubt in my mind that Liam Finn got a hand to it, but that went backwards, so that's play on. Well, Kirk Dixon, he'll probably be worried about the fact that he allowed Bailey to score that try when they kicked into his corner, but he's paid his coach back. That was poor defence and good support play by Iraqi. But to allow Dixon to get away and step out of a would-be tackle, they have paid the price.
Yeah, haven't they ever? And it's just a simple missed tackle right there, Danny Maguire. Make that tackle. It's not a system breakdown from Leeds. It's an individual miss. And it came from an offload. They're a very important part of big games like this. Offload from those forwards in the middle part of the field. And we'll keep putting Cass in their halves, who you'd have to say aren't the biggest names halves, but they play off these forwards who offload the ball, short pass. Guys like Weller Huraki, their contribution, as we wait for the kicking tee to come out for Cass, their contribution is really important to why this team functions so well.
Well, we were talking about earlier in regards to the fact that Tony mentioned that Leeds were hammering the Kirk Dixon out that on that right-hand side, and I must say that Dixon has paid his coach back, but Brian McDermott will be furious about the big miss from Danny Maguire. He should have got him, he didn't, and you've got to put a winger down like that. Gave him the opportunity to offload.
So Weller Huraki's try and his comeback. He was rested against the Giants last week. That was his first absence in Super League this year. And Mark Sneed, can he add the extras to Huraki's try? Yes, he can. We're level pegging again. It's 12 points apiece here at Headingley. And Huraki, the man who played in the 2011 Challenge Cup final against Wigan for Leeds, has come up with this try.
Yeah, he should have been stopped, and he knows it. Maguire, he can't go high. You've got to make sure you get the legs. Okay, don't worry about the offload. Stop the man. Stop his momentum. You've got a chance of preventing that try.
Well, it's a bit different to the match we saw at the Menderhose Jungle on the 8th of May. Castleford led 14-12 at half-time. The Rhinos turned it round, became the first team to deny them a score in the second half of that match. Rob Burrow, though, is on here. He got 2 tries last week on his comeback after a dislocated shoulder, wasn't it, that kept him out for about 10-11 weeks.
Well, a big hit there by Danny Maguire, but again, you can see Maguire. He has this tendency to go high, ball and all tackles. It's okay when you do it when that's his third tackle on the trot from Maguire. And I reckon he knows deep down, he knows he's missed it. He knows he's missed Dixon.
Oh, the bounce fooled Ryan Hall. It just skipped past his left-hand shoulder. But here he comes now on the return. Always quick to get things going, isn't he? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 Leeds players just walking back to behind that play the ball.
You know, the biggest difference in that opening quarter in the stats really is the tackle. Look at the tackle success of the Tigers, 96% to 91 for Leeds. Rhinos have missed too many tackles, really, and you'd expect the Tigers to be marginally ahead on that ground, but they certainly need some possession. This feature really of playing over to the left-hand side isn't new really for the Tigers. When Leeds went to Castleford, they had 5 times as much action on the left-hand side than they had on the right. I'm sure they'll continue with it. And Liam Finn, well, he's the top tackler for Castleford so far, amazingly, in the opening 20 minutes.
This is the last, so up it goes off the boot of Danny Maguire. Another chance here for someone down that right-hand side. Luke Dawn took control. And Kirk Dixon saying he was clattered when he was in the air there. And the referee, I think, is going to take a report from his touch judge, far side.
Well, I've got to decide whether he'd actually received the ball when they made contact.
The touch judge, by the way, is Tim Roby. Oh, there were knees up, weren't there?
Yeah, but they were both attempting to get the ball, to be fair. But you're right, knees did come up into it, so this really should be a penalty. Castleford's way.
I think the concern with the way he's actually gone into that with his knee up, as you say, he was challenging for the ball, but he's actually collided with his knee. And I think they've looked at that as dangerous play.
Joe Moon and Luke Dawn colliding.
I disagree with that one. You know, both those players had their knee up, they had their eye on the ball. It's just part of the collision sport. I don't think that's a penalty. I think he's hard done by. Dawn's got his knee up as much as Moon is. Moon's just got a bit higher. That's just not a penalty for me.
Well, it is for Tim Roby and the referee.
Yeah, he did make contact and suppose that the knee was higher. So
whoever raises the knee highest in the tackle now, is it?
Yeah, well, it's
Double Clark's there.
It's more dangerous, isn't it? The higher you get.
There goes another offload from Cass, and you can see Clark will be feeding off that. The halves will be feeding off that. It's these little skills from there. Is one there.
What a pass from Hubie. Here is Dawn. Can he get the pass away? Yes, he can eventually. Lynch, they want it fed wide. Touched in flight, went backwards. They get away with it, Leeds.
Oh, that's a saviour.
Oh, hello. He shouted play on. He shouted play on, and Sneed will score. Or has he? Well, I look in the background. Darrell Clark holds his head in his hands. He thinks Sneed's dropped this.
Well, I don't think anybody knows what happened there. It was touched by a Leeds player, then went backwards. There's nothing wrong with that.
2 things to check on here, Stuart. Was the ball-carrying arm on the ground when this tackle should have been completed, or wasn't it? And then look at whether he dropped the ball in the scoring of the try.
Well, I think there's even another section added in there about the tackle on the ground and the ball steal. Well, I certainly don't think that Luke Dawn's arm touches the ground. And that's the first bit. So he's perfectly entitled to pass the ball, which he does. So I think that'll be okay. And following this, we end up with Callum Watkins, I think it is, on the ground, who doesn't get up. They don't tackle him. Smart play, really. And as soon as he gets up off the ground, it's a legitimate tackle. He steals the ball one-on-one. Nobody else touched him. Nobody else was involved in it. So we move on to the grounding. Does he get the ball down?
That's the big question. No, he doesn't.
He's lost it after all that.
Yeah, it's quite clear there, but boy, I think it was Oliver Holmes, that the man that sneaked the ball away, and he just couldn't get it down. You can see quite clearly that there's a fair gap. This will be no try. The cheers, of course, is from the Leeds home fans.
No try, 20 minutes restart.
There you are, there's the decision from Steve Ganson. Knock on over the line, so it's a restart, and he was, oh, so close.
Well,
Good stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of people thinking was there a Leeds hand in there, but referee says Aone and Phil Bentham, Steve Ganson, the operated video ref, they could see that there was a huge gap. So a great relief for the home side.
The moment that that ball was lost, Darrell Clark, who's just stood up there to Carl Ablett, he put his head in his hands because he knew that ball had been lost. Was that high on Burrow?
No, said the official, but it's still going. He's a little fella, and now he's taking them back.
So he has to get two. He says he played the advantage. He played the advantage first one, then he got another one. So higher than high knees and 2 hits across the face.
Yeah.
That's when you get the penalties, eh?
Well, we're going to see those scampering runs, aren't they, from him, and the little darts from Darrell Clark here now. 2 fast men here as players tire quite to be at the same pace here after 23, 24 minutes here. It's a good momentum here now, a great atmosphere inside the ground. Can Leeds go ahead again?
Delaney drives it in for the Rhinos. This is Maguire. Now it's Sinfield. Here is Hardaker. Hardaker looking to crown his comeback with a try. Doesn't do so on that occasion, denied by the tackle. Sinfield. Maguire, movement all over the park for the Rhinos. Ablett taking on Finn, going inside, a couple still going. Ablett. Now then, does he drop the ball?
You're right, and he did.
Well, Ben Thaler, the official, said, how many times are we going to keep going up here? Because, do you know something? Somebody out there, or the 2 coaches, are going to start saying, when are we going to control this game? This is like touch and pass.
Well, Ben Thaler's asked the video referees to have a look to see whether it's actually a knock-on. He's said that he's lost the ball, but does he regather it before it is actually classed as a knock-on? That's his question to the video referee, and we'll see when Carl Ablett makes his way to the try line, the goal line. Does he actually retain possession? Well, there's certainly a hand on the ball, a Castleford hand on the ball at that point, but not at the point that he loses it. It's onto his knee. Does he retain possession before a Castleford player touches the ball?
Yeah,
I think
that's a try.
Very scruffy if it is.
It doesn't matter. It hasn't hit the ground, and it has to hit the ground. It's still on his body, and it regains it.
There's Castleford hands all over it, aren't there?
Well, it doesn't matter as long as he gets it down.
If he loses the ball forward and it hits a Castleford player, then it will be classed as a knock-on, but I don't think it hits a Castleford player.
This should be try time.
Try no one.
Tries given to Carl Ablett. Well, it's one end to the other, this. You score, we score. You score, we score. And Carl Ablett gets Leeds into the lead again.
Well, this is amazing, and I've just been mentioned before the officials decided to give the nod for this try. Brian McDermott, Darrell Powell, they'll be saying, listen, we've got to control this game. This is not just out there to show how fancy we are. They're just keeping this ball alive. It's great for television, it's great for us, but I'm not so sure either coach is going to be happy. But this is a good step by Ablett. That's good work.
Well, he loves the heading the ground, Carl Ablett. That's tries in 3 in a row here now. 3 home games in a row for Ablett, and Sinfield to restore Leeds' 6-point advantage, which he does. So 18-12. Right, Castleford, your turn.
Wonderful having Carl Ablett out on that left-hand side as Danny Maguire feeds it wide. It's got 2 centres out there. You've got Moon out there and Ablett out there. And don't underestimate the composure and skill under pressure there. It was loosened out there, but keep a hold of control of both your mind and your body to be able to get a hold of that ball under that pressure in such a big game, in such a big moment, and score the try. It's a wonderful effort from Ablett. Tremendous skill from that man.
Tony, didn't you have him with you down in the capital on loan when he was a bit of a youngster?
Yeah, amazing guy. He did. Came down on loan and he was a very skillful, really quiet guy. Amazing to watch how he's matured into a young man. He's clearly a leader in this group and he's used all of his experience. Wonderful player as a 14, 15, 16-year-old that just kept a hold of his talent and kept working away, as this Leeds side are doing. They've really responded well to their points. They're powering out. A couple of other times they've come up with errors. It's important they get to a kick and put the pressure back inside this seesawing game. Put some pressure back on Cass.
Well, this is where Leeds really should start taking control with the kicking game now. Make sure it gets into that corner. Positional play is so important. Here's the last.
Yes, look out, Kirk Dixon. This might be coming your way again. No, up the middle it goes, over the head almost of Dawn. Positioned himself well for that. Well, we've got 2 more matches for you live on Sky Sports this weekend as Dawn makes a break and then loses it. Widnes Warrington tomorrow, 7:30 Sky Sports 1, and Saturday Catalan and Wakefield. Sky Sports 1 at 5 minutes to 5.
Well, I went for the power play. That was good refereeing there.
It wasn't an error, it was a one-on-one steal, isn't it? This is where I know Leeds don't get the possession from this scrum. Great bit of footwork there, doesn't it? Embarrasses the Leeds defence and bursts through, but can't quite find the cover. And the referee says that Peacock, I think it was, is a one-on-one strip. So Leeds now have thrown the ball forward. This will be a scrum with a head and feet to Castleford.
Do you think there was some confusion there because they thought that was the free play?
Yeah. But having said that, the referee never signalled a free play, so, you know, the players have got to get used to looking at the referee to see whether they can play on.
But either free play or not, that was sheer panic yet again. Boy, there's going to be a lot of words said at the half-time break by both these coaches.
There's the strip by Peacock.
It was great work by Peacock, but I tell you something, Brian McDermott has to get a message to Danny Maguire. That was an awful miss yet again. You can't afford to do that. It's still going.
Great ball from Finn. Over the top, it bounced forward, it went backwards. The ball bounced forward, but was travelling backwards originally. The crowd on the back of the referee, he's got that right. Here goes Huraki. Quick play the ball, Webster.
Wonderful quick ball.
Liam Finn finds Craig Hubie. He gives it then back to Sneed. Sneed, another scruffy looking pass, but it gets to Shenton. And Shenton, Zach Hardaker to the rescue for the Rhinos. Justin Carney will fire the ball to Sneed again. He dabs it towards the in-goal area, and it just took a nasty bounce. And Darryl Powell, a little touch of frustration there.
And both these coaches are going to be frustrated, Eddie, because the players are enjoying themselves. Yeah, they're missing tackles, they're getting, but they've got to now start thinking about getting a good kicking game. Not to score tries, but put them into a good position.
Castleford play some great rugby, though. They've put some moves on here today, which might have been 5 or 10 metre breaks. They haven't scored from them. But the variety of their play is sensational. It's not just one man picking up and running as quick as he can. They really are a brilliant team.
I agree with that. And the key word there is team, that they feed off each other. The forwards are as constructive as the halves, and the halves feed off them. Having said that, we spoke a lot about Leeds pre-game and how good their defence are. You can see they're prepared for that. They are thinking about that. They know those plays are coming. As good as they look from up here and as threatening they are, that Leeds are dealing with them.
And Leeds, by the way, are no shrinking violets in terms of attacking rugby league themselves. Up it goes high off the boot of Maguire. Dawn's the only man underneath it, and Dawn gets it safely. And he's just on the field, number 19, Mitch A. Church. He celebrated a 26th birthday on Monday of this week.
So important now that the Rhinos make sure that Castleford, oh, they've allowed him to get good meters forward yet again. That was great work by Michael Denton.
And a wonderful tackle by A. Church and a little mess from the play the ball. They just tried to get it going too quickly. Darryl Clark.
Yeah. And that's what happens when you're working at 100% all the time, you know. And there are times, and I'm sure that Darryl Powell will say, you know, it's such a talent, this guy.
Michael Shenton was frustrated, though, on the previous play. He thought, I've made the break, and the player has tackled me, who'd been offside when the play of the ball had taken place. Now, can you just clarify what that... How can a player get back onside when he's not been square at marker?
They have to go back 10 metres or cross the plane to where they would have been at marker. Again, that's a change in the law that was from 2 years ago. If you're not square at marker, you can cut across to the path where you should have been and you're placed back onside.
See, whatever you throw at him, Stewart comes up with the correct answer, wipes his brow, delves deeply into the memory bank, but gets the explanation for us. Here is Hardaker. Now it's with Watkins. That's 3 tackles gone.
Have you become his mate all of a sudden?
Yeah, he's a good pal of mine, Stu. Always has been. Here is Maguire. Church to his feet. Burrow will play the ball. Comes into centre field, getting it goes back the other way. Maguire again fires the pass to Hall. Hall over the top. Loves to do that. Joel Moon. And Joel Moon looking for a chink in this Castleford Tigers defence. Watkins might find it here. He brushes away from Sneed. Gets it away to Briscoe. Here is Moon again. Moon fires the pass. Good work, but this time it came to Andy Lynch.
Oh, I'll be disappointed, Brian McDermott. They're keeping the ball alive. I mean, hey, listen, this is fantastic for the viewers. It's great for the fans.
Yes, it is. It's fabulous.
But it must be purgatory for the two coaches.
Well, that's a minority of two.
You've got to appreciate how good a performance this is from Cass, having said all that. You just can't come out here and play your sets of 6 out of heading. You've got to take the game on like this. I love the game plan. The most dominant player in the last 10 minutes has been Hoobie. He's come off the ground. He's dominated the middle. They're now winning the ruck. They're getting these little meters from dummy half. They've got the penalty euro after fill because they're winning those rucks. They're now in a really dominant position. Let's look at the forward interchange in this set of 6. Little passes from the forwards as Cass get down here. It'll be very interesting. You can see there's 3 markers. There's 3 guys that mark it there. So immediately that's straight away a penalty because this wonderful Cass side are playing like a wonderful team.
And you've got to give a lot of credit to the way that Daryl Powell brings in the wingers straight into dummy half. 2 good rushes down the middle of the field. I want your wingers in that dummy half position. And it really is taking a lot out of this Rhinos defence.
Nathan Massey, fresh legs. Frankie Mariano on also with fresh legs. Darrell Clark off the bench too. This is Hubie. Hubie trying to get to his feet quickly. Plays the ball again to Darrell Clark. He'll scamper away. He's still going, Darrell Clark. He beat the tackle first up. Couldn't get away from that one. Now it's Lynch. Short ball from him to Hubie once ago. What a ball round the corner that was. Here is Liam Finn. Trying to duck under a Church. Oh, Massey! Told it was Castleford's turn to score. Nathan Massey gets the touchdown under the post.
Tremendous work. He jumped into dummy half. And boy, you have left a huge gap. The Leeds Rhinos, they have bemused and every right to be that way. That came about by good, quick play of the ball.
Nathan Massey with the try. First try of the season.
Hubie the offload. That's what you need from a prop forward. Lynch is a gunner. And you've got to give Finn some good meter forward. But this is where it happened. Where was the first and second marker? I tell you, they'd gone. See you later. Anybody at home? No.
Well, he was sin-binned against the Rhinos in a home win last year. Was Nathan Massey. He's got something else to talk about now. Right underneath the sticks. And the kick to come from Sneed. And the scores are going to be level in a moment. What a good game this is. What an entertaining game this is. Okay, it's not for the coaches, it's not for the purists, but it's great entertainment. If you love your tries and if you love your Thursday night Super League, welcome on board. Marks need to add to the extras, which she does. 18 all at Headingley.
Yeah, this team is really finding some great form here. We mentioned the plan from the market defence has been eaten up. Darrell Clark's had 3 or 4 big runs. It's not this one from Massey to score the try, but he's created that. He and Hoovie's offloads. They've been dominating that ruck space. Leeds eventually got worn down. They've come to play the back half of this half cast. They've come to get equal and dominate this period. The way they've selected the team, they've rolled out their substitution, and it's working for them. It's a wonderful performance.
Right, Mitch, move! Ready? Keep going right
Well,
up.
it was good work from Massey, wasn't it? But Brian McDermott will be saying, you know, you can't have your first and second markers going the same way. You've got to go either way. Got to make sure the defence, which was wonderful from Leeds at the start of this season, I'm afraid he's dropping off badly.
Well, just there, Clark's gone again in that set. He's made 4 players tackle him. We've got Callum Watkins injured on the ground off the back of it. He's just starting. He's probably going to go again. You know, he's going to go to the pass play from Lynch. They're all feeding off those little runs from Clark. He is dominating the ruck.
He's in there again. At dummy half is Darrell Clark. He gives it to Sneed. Oh, that bounced off the legs of Danny Maguire. The referee says it was played at. Oh! And I think that, oh, he's going to say back to 0 in the tackle count. I thought that was a knock on each way, didn't you?
I think it went back both times off the players, and that's why we got the play on.
I just wonder about the last one, Stuart, whether it flicked the fingers of Snead. Anyway, let's not be churlish. Let's sit back and watch what unfolds here.
Yeah, got the good ricochet, didn't they?
That's going backwards. That's a knock on.
No, that went back and he got to it on the second occasion. That's play on. That's good refereeing by Ben Thaler.
Clark, away he goes to Dawn again. And Dawn, oh, he tried to get the ball away to Webster.
That'll
penalty.
Be yeah, offside.
Penalty. I think Webster was inside the 10. Well, he's arguing, is Jake Webster, politely. He said, he passed it to me. He passed it to me.
Yeah, you can see he just had the right arm, just caught it. It's a definite knock on.
I think not a knock on, it was a penalty for offside.
Yeah, I think they got that wrong. Ben got the call from the side, and I think they've misjudged that. I think they thought that a Castleford player kicked the ball forward, and it was actually a Leeds player that kicked it.
Well, everything happens at 100 miles an hour, doesn't it, in the Super League these days?
It certainly does, and if you like basketball, they're keeping it alive, aren't they? I mean, it's as you say, Eddie, it's tremendous entertainment.
There you go, there's the pass, well, and it came off Delaney.
Yeah.
So that's why the dispute from Jake Webster. Anyway, we've cleared that up. Briscoe. Brian McDermott, sterner face. I wonder if it's Leeds' turn. This is Stevie Wall.
Run from this fella, maybe. Yeah, he's just going to offload.
To Sinfield, to Maguire, to Hardacre. Showed it to Ablett, gave it to Moon. Joel Moon just stays in the field of play, but only just. Hall trying to pinch one from dummy half. Great strength from Ryan Hall. 1, 2, 3, 4 are there to stop him. And they bring it back to the 10-metre mark for the last tackle on this set of 6.
It's got to be a dribble into the in-goal area, surely.
Was the last tackle, wasn't it? That's now the handover, isn't it?
No, it's a turnover.
Yeah, sorry, we got confused there, Eddie. That looked a bit high. Got away with it.
We really are set up for a super second half with the scores locked a minute out from half-time. Has to be challenging. When you have a lot of players coming back like Leeds did, this is the most difficult part of the game. It's the last 10-15 minutes into half-time. But they'll have their second wind in the second half, and they won't feel it dominant as bad as they have in the back part of this half. We're in for a real cracker second half here.
Yeah, big problem for Craig Hubie. He's certainly limping.
This is Massey.
He's still out there. Maybe we'll keep an eye on that.
Lynch goes down on the 5th, so here comes the last. The kick from Castleford has to be good because Leeds have got 30 seconds to get this up the other end of the field. Finn with the kick. Ryan Hall, now then. Infield it comes to Zach Hardacre. Good wall of defence from Castleford, so he has to find Briscoe.
Well, I'm surprised that Liam Finn did not put that ball out. Keep it low, put it in, make sure it's over the whitewash. Eat up the time.
Hardacre clattered to the ground. 6 seconds to the half-time siren. Watkins.
The kick chase was very impressive though, Steve. The ball did stay in play, but in the last minute, every defender was in the right place.
Entertaining first half. Darryl Powell makes his way down to the dressing rooms to talk to his players. They will be delighted, the Castleford supporters. Travelled here in good numbers, the short journey to the big city that lives next door to the town of Castleford. And Leeds, well, they know they're in for a match. They knew they were in for a match before the game started, and Shenton confirmed that in the first minute. The lead lasted 7 before Briscoe got over, then Bailey made it 12-6, Hiraki 12 apiece, Ablett 18-12, Massey 18-18. Tremendous entertainment here at Headingley tonight. And maybe this will develop into the biggest of those. Pardon me, Wakefield, but Leeds and Castleford dominating the top of the table this season and level pegging at 18-all at half-time. Leeds know they beat Castleford twice here last year in Super League and the Cup. 28-12 in the Cup, 39-26 in the Super League 2 months later. This Castleford team, though, is a different kettle of fish.
When you're ready, Kev, we'll kick off.
And it's going to be Leeds who'll get this second half underway. Do you think the coaches will have waved the magic defensive wand, an organisational wand, Steve-O?
I think both coaches realised that there were a lot of things that they had to change for this second stanza. And they get the attitude that they've got to go out there and make sure, especially, I'm sure Brian McDermott would have said to his Leeds defenders, you know, we've got to work harder. And you can see that Castleford, they're always pinpointing Danny Maguire, who has this very bad habit of going high into the tackle. He missed 2 glaring attempts. And I'm sure McDermott, as you saw, a very tense Leeds coach there. Castleford, of course, well, Daryl Powell will be quite happy in regards to the fact that, you know, if they can keep bouncing back, they've produced some great football, both sides have, but they've got to have a little bit more composure, both sides.
Well, he's in his 4th season in charge, Brian McDermott. 5th, 2 years on the run, of course, grand finals, 3rd last year. And they're challenging on all 3 fronts, all 3 trophies on offer. League Leaders' Shield, the Super League at the Grand Final, the Challenge Cup. Mind you, so are the Castleford Tigers.
Interesting, the Tigers haven't lost a game this season when they've had 50% of the ball or more. You know, when they lost in Castleford back in round 12, Leeds had 30 play the balls more than their opponents at the end of the game. In the first half, the Tigers dominated in possession, and it certainly helped them to get to 18 all. Possession for these two sides is important, and if the Tigers, I think, again, have the majority of it in the second half, maybe I've changed my opinion from the start of the game, Eddie, and now I fancy them to win it.
Well, we'll see. They've got their supporters at their back. Leeds attacking the end where the Tigers supporters are massed. Dawn underneath the high kick from Maguire. Rod Studd's got all the half-time news for us.
Yeah, thanks, Eddie. On the face of it, this kind of helter-skelter, you score, we score game should probably suit Castleford more than Leeds, but the message in the changing rooms was broadly similar, to be quite honest with you. Cass saying that, well, they lacked a bit of composure. It was the word that Steve was just using there. When they got near the Leeds line, they felt they panicked just a little bit, and it's talking about just building pressure and playing a more composed game, and similar in the Leeds camp as well, that they want less of this helter-skelter kind of stuff. Just a word on Kevin Sinfield. We noticed he picked up a knock earlier on in that first half, but Leeds are happy that he's run it off. No problems with the Leeds captain. He's A-OK, Eddie.
Thanks, Rod. This is Darrell Clark now on a little run for the Castleford Tigers as Sinfield makes his way into the defensive line and defending this run from Craig Hubie. Here comes the last tackle for Castleford in this set of 6. Comes to Liam Finn, and he will hoist the kick. Hardacre waiting underneath it, can hear Haraki coming towards him, and Haraki gets him in the tackle.
Pretty good kick as well there by Liam Finn. It's been one of the features of the Tigers comeback, isn't it? The way that Liam Finn's kicking game has slotted him. Got a very good rugby league football brain, that is for sure.
Well, is it going to be like the earlier meeting at the Menderhose Jungle, where the game was tightly poised at half-time, and then Leeds kept Castleford pointless in the second half, the first team to do so, to keep them scoreless in a half of rugby league this season. Wigan followed up soon after that in the Super League. That was immediately after Castleford had dumped them out of the Challenge Cup, of course, at the quarter-final stage. Good kick all the way down the line here, collected by Luke Dawn.
To do that, Eddie, they've got to make these tackles from the first half. If we're talking about what the messages from the coaches were at half-time, with Brian McDermott, and you like to keep it simple in big games, you'd say, let's make sure Dawn doesn't make any more breaks. Let's get our kick chase right. We need to put pressure on Cass, make them really work hard for the game. The other thing you do is make sure that Clark doesn't get any space from dummy half. You've got to stop him running. The third thing would be stop all offloads, and you'd be saying Hubie and Lynch. But there goes Clark. There's that threat we're talking about.
Tremendous run from Darrell Clark. He applies the brakes. Zach Hardacre gets to him.
Sadly, there was no support there. They've got to realise the quality of that man.
Here's Finn.
Oh, that's a knock-on.
Ball went forward, did it? Yes, it did. Jamie Peacock's offside here. It's a penalty to Castleford.
Well, I'd take the 2. I would take the 2.
Do you not think getting close to your opponent's try line is more important? The Tigers do. 5 of the 6 tries so far have come when teams are in this part of the field. Territorial, it's important to get down there.
Clark to Sneed. Oh, gets it away to Luke Dawn. He nearly slipped the net. Jamie Jones-Buchanan's out there. He finished him off.
By Sinfield.
Yes, Sinfield low downs, prevented the try. Hubie will have another dash back that way. Here is Frankie Mariano now.
Boy, they're muscling up big. They're wanting the ball out wide. Liam Finn's wanting it.
Sneed gets it to Lynch. He finds Finn now. Darryl Clark weighing up the options, left, right and down the middle. Goes right and finds Haraki. Stuttering run in front of Ablett, allowed Ablett to come in and affect the tackle. Clark again, waits behind the play the ball, gives it then to Finn. He'll float the kick high. There's a phalanx of white jerseys there. Carney's one of them, touched in flight. It's back to zero. Another set of 6 here.
More pressure, they want it out wide to Castleford.
Clark, Lynch again. Lynch trying to spin his way to the line, goes backwards, engine in reverse. 2 metres away from the line, Shenton to Sneed. Sneed, back it comes to Finn. Finn then to Haraki again. Ablett stands his ground, helped out by Bailey.
Keep your eye on Luke Dawn, is going out onto the left-hand side. He'll come on the second phase after this play the ball. You can see Sneed talking to him.
It's going that way with Hubie, and now Sneed, and they find Dawn, and he gets it wide to Carney. Carney can't be stopped from that range, or can he?
I'm just checking the obstruction.
There's an obstruction call in back play.
Well, he gets it down as far as I'm concerned.
I think there's nothing wrong with that. It's all in the build-up, Stuart, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what they're looking for. There was a lot of movement in midfield, as we've seen all night from Castleford. Have the players got the timing right? So far, everything's okay on this pass. We've got a player on the outside shoulder. Does he carry on or does he stop? I think he stops short and allows Callum Watkins to go through. I don't think there's any interference there. Now, certainly the ball goes out to Justin Carney, but that's what they're looking for. Is there an obstruction on Callum Watkins? The defender's either got to get past him, come on the inside shoulder, or stop short. Does he have any effect?
I was just thinking as well in the build-up to that how well both sides are running off the ball tonight. We hadn't had any of these obstruction question marks, and here we are, we get one right away.
Well, they've had to, all the coaches in Super League now have to realise that if they're going to be on television, they're not going to be scrutinised. So they're not quite sure. Did Shenton obstruct? They're looking for the grounding, perhaps. No, it looks like they're going to go back and see whether Shenton made any contact. If he makes contact, he'd have to give it as an obstruction. If he fails to do that, then he's got to give the try, because I think Carney, once again, the powerhouse, sneaks in at the corner. They're looking at this. They've got to find out whether Shenton has made any contact.
It's almost slide rule stuff, this, Stuart.
Would you give it, Stuart?
Well,
yes or no?
It is. The issue you've got is that Callum Watkins, is he delayed at all? Because he gets across and he's just short.
Yes or no?
I think in that situation, I would allow play to go out because it's clearly out to the wing straight away, and I will give the try.
No try, obstruction.
Well, you could see the reaction from Darryl Powell.
He's not happy, and
neither's Danny Orr.
I've every right to think this, but he's said they have interpreted that Shenton has actually touched Callum Watkins. So therefore, according to what we've had all this season, if he makes contact, then it has to be turned down.
I think dealing with the decision now is equally important. If the try had been given, it wasn't going to be the end of the game. There's over half an hour remaining. How Castleford mentally cope with issues like this will determine whether they're good enough, Eddie, to get to Manchester and play in the grand final.
They'll cope with that. What they're doing fantastically as a team is just going through those plays, churning them out. You've got to look at how beautiful those plays were when they were executed. Everyone knows their roles, they're executing their roles. They've just got to do what Darryl Powell had up on the wide berth. Keep your composure and keep applying pressure, particularly at the end of your sets.
Well, Phil's right. How they deal with that disappointment will be crucial in the next couple of minutes, and certainly the next 3 tackles. Here is Sinfield, finds Peacock. Out the back door from Peacock.
Oh,
it was
did
an
well
almost
to get
impossible take that from Sinfield.
And they didn't need to offload. Peacock should have stuck with it.
Bailey offloads. Here is Ablett. This now is Joel Moon. Oh, great defence, Castleford. Fantastic defence.
Yeah, spot on, Eddie. They really gave him no opportunity. They had the numbers. Nobody came out of the line. They were controlled. Look at that. That's what you call good control defence. 4 players get out.
Bill asked how their composure would be. They were ruled out diagonally opposite corner. The set of 6 off the penalty, and they were there in big numbers. A cracking game. Both sides really applying themselves under pressure.
So the scrum will form 10 metres from the Tigers line. They have head and feed with Finn. Ooh, a little stumble then from Dixon.
Well, they have the confidence now, the Tigers, because the way that the bunch of forwards from the Tigers have worked hard, and that's great defence. Nice to see Jamie Jones-Buchanan back into the fray.
Yes, it is. A horror 12 months behind for JJB. Calf twice, knee and bicep. Just 9 appearances in the past 12 months for the number 11 for the Rhinos, Jamie Jones-Buchanan. This is Hubie and Leeds now. It's a good set so far from them. And it gets even better. Here comes the last.
Oh, it's knocked on.
He has. And he's claiming that he was interfered with as he went to play the ball.
Well, Massey is furious. But I reckon his coach might be as well. Well, there's certainly hands over the top from Brett Delaney.
But it's more his body as well. He's pushing him with his knees. You know, he's taking his space away that he needs to play that ball. They're looking to get away with that, Leeds.
Well, get away with it they have, and here's a glorious opportunity for them. Built, I must say, on the back of that wonderful defensive effort. Maguire showed it to 2, went for it himself. Finn cuts him down. Moon to Peacock.
They're setting
way,
up.
Route 1 for Jamie Peacock.
They're setting up Eddie.
Yes, with Burrow and Maguire and Jamie Jones-Buchanan. Time for Castleford to defend stoutly again as Burrow finds Sinfield. Sinfield offloads to Luluai. Oh, and there was a Castleford player, Mariano, peeled away from that, holding his wrist. That would-be tackle. Here is Maguire, Peacock, Maguire again, Ablett, quick hands, Moon, Joel Moon out the back door. Here's Ryan Hall. Hall running flat. Castleford will let him do that all night. Clark got to him, but he got the ball away to Luluai. Nowhere other than Luluai to go, other than up the middle.
Great defence from Castleford again. They're walking in, getting into as a unit. Good kick, good offload.
Good defence. Great defence from Castleford once more. It's the turnover.
Tremendous, absolutely tremendous. They're coming up with all sorts, kicks, offloads. You can see there it went straight into the face of Michael Shenton.
And they need somebody here to get the side out of their own 20-metre zone up as far as possible. Look, Leeds have put a massive effort in defensively here to try and strangle any territory out of them, retain them, contain them in this part of the field. Look at that. You know, if you went back a couple of years, it would be very unusual for Leeds to put 4 men into a tackle. But that is a change in the defensive pattern that you sometimes see with them this season.
The tackle before that from Luluai, Kirk Dixon is still checking. He's got the right number of ribs still intact.
Well, this is where the Tigers should be looking to try to pinpoint Danny Maguire.
And that was Luluai again. Went straight at Massey. That's a decent kick.
Yeah,
that's an excellent kick.
It's a very good set of 6 from Cass. After that composure, they found exactly the play in the set they had to. You've got to remember that Leeds are aiming up there. They were really ripping in. They were cranking the volume up. They now have to defend again, back-to-back sets.
Paul gets to his feet, plays it to Burrow. Oh, Burrow through a gap, gives it then to Moon. Moon in field, it goes to Briscoe. Massey is there. Hardaker will have a run at Liam Finn. Hubie got to him.
Look how the Tigers have got back into one line of defence. Boy, we said that fitness would play its part tonight, and they've shown that.
Sinfield had nowhere to go then. Sneed was all over him.
They need to put him on the floor though, Eddie, at the end of a tackle like that. Maybe some fatigue here defence.
Luluai driving it in again. Milner stands firm. Massey stands firm. Here's the last tackle for the Leeds Rhinos now. And Maguire will slide it to the corner looking for Hall. Finds Hall. He finds Joel Moon. More wonderful defence on this right-hand side.
Tremendous kick, tremendous defence. Not surprisingly, they congratulate each other. You could see there that Jake Webster went in with the shoulder. Could have been spotted by the official. Turned down, certainly used the shoulder into it.
Hubie and Jamie Jones Buchanan's on a mission. He's on a mission to prove he's fit after all these injuries he's had. Here comes Massey.
Eddie, Leeds are ready to crack. Leeds are getting tired. Their middle blokes are really struggling to get through it. This is the composure Daryl Powell's really after. He needs his big players playing with power, getting through their sets, and really a good kick at the back of the end would be a great result. A line break would be awesome.
Oh, this is rugby league at its best.
Milner felt that. Peacock low, Luluai up top. Kick all down the line, collected on that far side. Hardaker, whoa! Shenton, the tackle was high.
Yeah, just got a little bit excited there, did the skipper Michael Shenton. And they'll be a little bit disappointed, especially coach Daryl Powell, because you can see Shenton over the top. The kick wasn't good. The kick...
Michael, you're 100%. It had to find grass, didn't it?
That is one big hit from Luluai. It's rough and tough out there. But I'm just disappointed with the fact that Castleford, in a good position, really should have put it in the corner, put it out, make sure that they had to put the scrum down.
Very impressed. Eddie, been very impressed by the movement of the Castles' defence in those last few sets of 6. They do look a little bit slower now, just to open this set. There's now a little opportunity for Leeds.
Here's Hardaker, gets it to Moon. Moon to Hall, and Webster says, come here, and down goes Ryan Hall.
It's like a brick wall, the Tigers.
Ablett and Sinfield. Peacock saw a gap, went for it.
And again, it looks like the Rhinos are going to be left with no option but just go for the kick option again.
Well, Burrow looks like he's got something up his sleeve. He gives it to Hall. He bounced off Finn. Good job that Webster was there, and Haraki. Burrow again, Maguire. Maguire then to Luluai, like a steam train is Kylie Luluai. Held up over the line. Last tackle coming up, 10 metres back.
Oh, the kick to probably over to Kirk Dixon. That's going to be the key factor. Oh, will they go the sharp blind side?
They're all lined up down the right, and that's the way they're going. Maguire, Sinfield, there's the kick, sliding it through. Well watched by Luke Dorff.
Do you know, this defence from Castleford is reminiscent from when they won in the Challenge Cup at Wigan, the quarter-final. So often they had to spend time defending closer on try line. You thought they were going to crack, but to everyone's surprise, they held strong, and look here, eventually found the way back at the other end of the field. There's a good offload here. They're having to live up with the pace. The referee's hang on, going to whistle.
Yes, he's seen the high tackle on Justin Carney.
Is that a momentum shift in this match, you know, that they've held out again? We've got to 15 minutes of the second half. They catch the breath here now for a high tackle. There's the offload.
What a talent he is, this Justin Carney. 40th Castleford appearance tonight. 42 tries. And he can offload, can't he?
Well, he's like an extra forward, isn't he? And he's not shy to come in and look for work. And that's always a great lift to a side, to have your winger to just say, give it to me, give the forwards a little bit of a rest. Now, it is important now, can the Tigers control the game?
It was an important signing that Daryl Powell made of Justin Carney earlier this year, 5-year deal, tying him up when others rumoured to be looking for the exit door and being offered an exit from Castleford. Here is Hubie. Finn. Over the top he finds Webster. Webster's halted by Burrow. Tenacious tackling. Haraki. Finn. Hubie. Good hands. Sneed. Wide they go. Carney!
Woof. Oh, what a tackle.
Whoa, Briscoe did well then.
Did he ever?
Shenton. Slides the kick in. Horrible bounce. Oh, even worse bounce. Even worse bounce for Grant Millington.
Millington can't believe it. Neither can the two coaches. The kick was superb. It's very rare you see Michael Shenton put a kick in there, and Millington knew that the game was done. Maguire couldn't get to it. Millington said, this is glory. No, it ain't.
He's perhaps the best tackler, but not the best finisher.
Well, there was a shocking bounce, wasn't it, for everybody concerned in the in-goal area then.
The tackle from this man on Justin Carney flying from the corner. Fantastic game this has been. We've seen him go over most times this season, score those tries. Fair play to Carney. Awesome play from Briscoe.
Yes, well done. Tom Briscoe saved a certain 4 points then.
A little bit of composure needed by the Tigers now. Can Leeds just sharpen up this play the ball area? This is the man. This is the man.
Castleford were asking for a possible obstruction then because Burrow ran behind Peacock, I think it was. Here is Peacock again now. He gets the arms free and offloads to Sinfield.
And again, they're going to be forced to put that kick in. How long can this Tigers defence keep them out?
Maguire, no, they're running it with Moon again. They're having another go down this side. There's a little flick of the boot, another flick of the boot. Ablett's locked it forward. Oh, Ablett might score here.
He's got it. He's got it just before the whitewash. He's got to go upstairs as Ben Thaler, obviously. But the ricochet, and I think there's going to have to be a try. I think he's got it down.
Well, again, it's come from a kick, so we've got to make sure that everybody's on side. As the ball's moved across, there's certainly no problems early on. Well, it's ricocheted off a Castleford foot, and Carl Ablett is behind Joel Moon, who's kicked it anyway. So we play on from here. There's no issues at all. So I think it's only about the grounding, because it's Ablett that's kicking it forward, so we've no other dramas with offsides. But it's just whether he gets the ball down. Does he ground it correctly? Is it inside the line? That's what the video referees now have to decide. We've got another big bounce. Does he get his hands on it inside the line? That's a try.
Well, it has a touch of fortune about it. If it's given, and I think it will be.
Try, no offside.
No offside. Ablett chasing his own kick after the original kick had reached him off a Castleford leg. And Carl Ablett gets his second try of the night. What an important member of this Leeds side Carl Ablett is.
And again, the strong defence has made sure that they had to put the kick in. Okay, they had the element of luck, the ricochet. Joel Moon put the kick through. But the awareness of this big second rower, Carl Ablett. You've got to put yourself in a good position. Okay, he got the rub of the green, but look at that second effort. He's got it down.
Yes, you can't argue with that picture. And Carl Ablett touches down for Leeds. Well, a try chalked off at the other end for Castleford on the video referee's decision. A try awarded to Carl Ablett also on the video ref's decision, and they have been busy boys tonight. So, Sinfield from bang in front will add the extras here, and we'll be 24-18 in the favour of the Leeds Rhinos. Slides the kick over the top, no problem. 24-16 it is. 24-18, I beg your pardon, it is.
There has been a gripping end-to-ender. This try was struck off. We asked for Castleford's reaction. It's been strong. It was an instruction for the captain, Shenson. Darryl Powell's reaction to that. It was calm. He was disappointed. They haven't struggled dealing with this. This is a game of inches, hasn't it? And Ablett's come up with those. They ruled out by an inch there down there defensively. They've come up with a fantastic competitive play. And Leeds are a side that can do those on the last play. They'll pass it. The centres will kick, and he'll come up with the points.
And there's the reaction from Carl Ablett when the green light came from the video referees. Well, Castleford have to come from behind again. They've had to do that many times in Super League here at Headingley. They've only won 4 times here on this ground in Super League history. And they have 20 minutes remaining to try and rescue this match now. A match that can still go either way.
Oh, without a doubt, plenty of time, but oh, good run there from Barrow.
They're asking for an extra set at Leeds, but referee says no.
Oh, what a take, and then he's lost it hard-aching in the end.
Yes, it was acrobatic stuff.
He thought he got it. Well, he did the first time, but I'm afraid he lost control the second. Well, there's never been more than 6 points separating these two sides, and even though we've still got a quarter left of this game, you wonder whether Leeds might be looking to put a one-pointer over. I know it's early, but psychologically that could be a bitter blow to the Tigers.
I don't very often agree with you on that one, Michael, but that's a fair call in this game. I think that a field goal will be a massive play for it. Another interesting one for Darryl Fowler, who's been using his interchange so well as this game goes, is the use of Darryl Clark now as the game goes through. He's their ace. He's in the stand at the moment. Leeds forwards will get tired in this tight game. When does he bring him on? When does he bring the ace on? He has to be reading that one very carefully and very well.
Lovely off-road from Millington, opens up the door a little. There is Darryl Clark waiting the call from Coach Powell. Sneed. Dawn has almost drifted through. What a tackle that was. It needed to be a good one as well, and it was. And here comes Lee Jewett.
It was the captain as well. Kevin Sinfield just got there in time. It looked like Luke Dawn was through that gap.
Milner off the ground to Sneed, kick to the corner looking for Carney, only finds the sideline, and he scratches his head in frustration, does Darryl Powell.
Yeah, it needed to be about 1.5 metres, a little bit less, and you could see there that Carney really hadn't got that. But look at this tackle from Sinfield. Boy, talk about a captain's knock. It looked for all the word the full-back was through.
I think the biggest or most noticeable difference is the accuracy and the quality of the kicks at the end of the sets that Leeds put in comparison to the ones for Castleford. Too often it's gone over the dead ball line or gone out of play like that, where Leeds, and it's only 12 inches difference in the kick, but it applies so much more pressure and has led to some of the Leeds tries, so many of them coming from kicks.
This the start of a big weekend on Sky Sports 1. And, well, Widnes, Warrington, Catalan, Wakefield, you've got some show to live up to here tonight. Enthralling match again. Moon, they tried to collar him. They get to him in the end via Webster and Finn. Burrow to Peacock. Down Peacock goes on the 5th. Here comes the kick. Surely from Sinfield. No. Yes. Oh no. He gets it away to Jamie Jones Buchanan. That ball went forward, didn't it? No?
No, it went backwards according to the official.
So did that from Carney.
Boy, he did well to recover there. Justin Carney fumbling all over the place.
Leeds sense another opportunity.
Second effort from the big winger. So important now that the Rhinos keep the Tigers in their own half. It won't be easy because the way that these Castleford forwards have worked hard has been outstanding tonight.
Leeds are working very hard in defence, though, in Castleford territory tonight as well. Here is Milner. Massey. Oh, just went down in a heap. So the kick has to be good. Sneed just tries to buy a little bit of real estate. Hardacre to run this ball back as far as Finn.
And that's where you get the benefit of good defence way downfield, that you get the ball and you're going to get pretty close to the opposition half, so that you can put the kick away, and we know the quality of either Kevin Sinfield or Danny Maguire.
Briscoe, no progress gained. Hard work done by Jewett and Webster. Burrow, such a dangerous character with the ball in his hand.
Interesting with Burrow making that run. The rotation there from Brian McDermott was Lulawai off 8 and on. He's gone for mobility. He's going to do the reverse back at Cass. He's going to have a lot of dummy half running, 2 dummy half runners. He's going to have Burrows going, and he's going to have Aiton going, and they're going to try and really work over the Cass forwards to back end this game.
Sinfield just drills the ball into touch.
Yeah, brilliant. If ever a man knows how to just close things down, calm everything. The first half was fast, furious, and it was like basketball at times. but he knows, and you saw the little wink there to say, yeah, I'm in control of this game now. We've got that 6-point lead. We want them to just keep kicking, turning them around, try to force the error.
Yes, it's a real contrast, isn't it, to the first half when it was a you try, we score affair, and in the second half, defences have been king.
Well, those are the little mini battles that Leeds are winning, aren't they? I don't know whether some of those Castleford players could run a little harder than what they have in those last two plays. They're going to have to somehow get forward. Here's the wide player to do it. Carney's in his possession, and whoa, here he goes, Eddie.
Yes, the tank on the flank, and he's dropped it.
Oh, why on earth did he try to offload?
Here goes Hardaker. Hardaker weaving his way, and Sneed gets to him.
But why did Carney try to offload?
Maguire goes the short way. Shenton halts him with that tackle. This is a chance for Leeds to tie this game up. Moon.
Go to
Holmes.
Run to the post. Maguire.
Holmes with the tackle.
Oh, Kevin Sinfield, sorry, Eddie, but they've got to set up for the one, surely. No, they're coming wide.
Ablett. Still, he's on a hat-trick, is Carl Ablett. He gets to within a couple of metres of the line. They can come back now into centre field. They do with Peacock. Back it comes to Sinfield. Wide they go then to Maguire. Further wide to Watkins. Out the back to Briscoe, and Castleford scramble and get him down again. Here comes the last tackle for Leeds. And Hardaker goes to the corner and is trapped in possession by Shenton. Maybe not the way that Steve-O wanted it, but look where Leeds turned the ball over, so close to the Castleford line.
Yeah, and they're pretty confident with the defence, but I would have been looking for that 1 point.
Well, if they don't win the game, I think they'll come back and look at that play, won't they, at the end of that set and say, wow, could have done a lot better there, but the control here, the way they're containing Castleford is phenomenal.
Here's the danger man. He's returned to the fray. Darryl Clark. Darryl Powell's his coach. Jewett, Finn, quick hands to Dawn. It's slightly opened up for Dawn, and it was quickly closed by Burrow. Finn down the right-hand side with Haraki. Here is Webster. Webster bounces off Ryan Hall. That takes some doing. Hall gets him at the second attempt. Last tackle here coming up for the Tigers.
Got to be a bomb, surely.
Finn.
Oh, they've gone to the corner.
They've gone wide looking for Carney. Too long. It went out on the fall. It'll be brought back.
Bill Clark, you have called this 100%. The difference at the moment is the quality of the back end. The kicking game from Cass is just marginally off. It is not top end, and Darryl Powell is frustrated. There's two decisions made there. When you hit a kicker, you can't do that. You can't try and read decision. You have to read the space. That one out on the full. It is out on the full. It's a handover. Leeds are now starting to really dominate territory. Cass can't get in and dominate any territory at the moment.
Yeah, but disappointed with Liam Finn. Everyone expected him, sure, his teammates did, a high bomb, put him under the pressure. But you just watch Leeds now. They'll just trundle it forward. This will be no fancy pants. Oh, I say that. And barely offloads.
Aiton.
Yeah, but you've got to do that, Michael. You know, that's an easy offload. He has two hands clear. You've got to keep throwing challenges at Cass. You can't just up the jumper yet. If it's an easy one to get away, you do offload and make them tire.
One more drive, kick to that blind side.
Burrow to Maguire. Hall will take it down the middle again. 13 metres plus away. Is Sinfield interested in the drop goal attempt? Yes, he is. Charged down by Jewett. And Leeds will get the ball back courtesy of Hardaker. Oh, and he gets away from Jewett as well.
Brilliant play.
So they start this set of 6, 40 metres away.
Well, feels like a playoff game, doesn't it? It really does feel like the playoff. That the winner goes home here. The great effort from Castleford to stay in this contest and prevent that 1 point, which they know, I think, Mike, that would be the end of the game for the Tigers.
Yeah, they know, and surely they'll just trundle it up, get him in a good position.
Burrow to Delaney.
I'd go now.
Yeah, I think he
would go now.
Well, Sinfield's there. Maguire's behind him. Burrow takes it even closer to the line. Now then, underneath the sticks they are. And Sinfield backs up 20 metres away. And that's a poor pass from Aiton to Maguire. Maguire drops the ball onto the boot. And Kirk Dixon is trapped in goal, so they get the extra set of 6.
Well, it was good play in the end. It was an awful pass, wasn't it? They both wanted it, but he came up with a superb kick, and you could see Dixon got back, good position.
And Michael, as that ball goes out and Maguire gets the ball, think what's written on Darryl Powell's board. Composure, Maguire had that, and pressure at the end of your sets, exactly what he did. And now Casa really learning how to finish off and how to play a big game. Great experience for them. Unfortunately for them, it's all been taught to them by the Leeds team.
Peacock, at 36 years of age, is running as strong as he did in the first minute. Burrow, Maguire, Ayton. Paul Ayton missed much of this season with an illness, kept him out for a long time. Burrow, Maguire, Sinfield, was that forward?
It looked it slightly. Now then, remember, Sinfield went back, is in at dummy half now.
It's with Delaney. Now Maguire. Maguire to Ablett, off the fingertips.
What on earth are they doing?
Off the fingertips of Ablett. Is it a free play? Yes, he's wiped the tackle count down. Oh, great pass! Dawn and Sinfield to the rescue again. That's the penalty.
Yeah. Silly play. Oh, that's it. I'm sorry, he's got to go. That was a headbutt. He lost his composure, did Sinfield. That's got to be a red card as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I think they both put their heads in.
They were like two stacks. But who made the first move with the head?
I think you'll find it's Kevin Sinfield, but I may be wrong. They're not happy.
Well, in my view, that's Sinfield moving towards Luke Dawn on that one. That is a headbutt.
The play's going to the pocket.
I'm sorry,
he's going
it's a
to the
red
pocket
card.
is Ben Thaler. This could be sensation. It is. It is. The Leeds and England captain, Kevin Sinfield, sent off for a headbutt. And Brian McDermott immediately leaves his post and comes down to the side. A sensational moment in the first Utility Super League. Kevin Sinfield sent off at Headingley.
It's under pressure, and that's good work by Brian McDermott, the coach. Okay, he was all over him. The penalty, you could see, he was complaining that Dawn was hanging on to him. Dawn got the penalty. And I'm afraid you can't do that.
Well, I think Luke Dawn was saying to Ben Thaler he needs to go in the sin bin, and Kevin Sinfield's taken offence to that.
And you could easily take offence to some of the language if you're a lip reader, and if you do, we apologise for that.
But as I say, Brian McDermott has to get
a character that by Kevin Sinfield.
He just lost the plot, and it's as simple as that. The tension of this game, it doesn't surprise me you're thinking that way. But now, McDermott's got to say to his players, do not retaliate. It's important we keep our defence. The Tigers have got their tails up. The claws are out.
So the 13 of Castleford against the 12 of Leeds Rhinos. And this is Millington. And the leader is off the field in the dressing room, Kevin Sinfield. It's a sensational story. Massey goes down. Here is Mark Sneed. Wide they come with Shenton. Great tackle by Maguire. Oliver Holmes. Sneed gives it to Finn. Finn gives it some width untidily. It finds Dixon. He picked that up brilliantly under pressure from Hall. Webster on the last tackle. Finn, the kick, puts it high. Carney's after this. Oh! Surely Maguire impeded Carney. Surely.
Well, they certainly made contact. I think he's given the penalty.
The touch judge is called.
The touch judge saw it. We all saw it. Look there. It's as plain as day.
Yeah. Oh, talk about tension. I mean, Maguire trying to kid everybody by lifting his arms, but he made contact already.
Well, Castleford sends Rhino's blood, and 6 minutes from time, with a one-man extra, they are on the attack here with Haraki.
They've got to make sure that they suck in this Leeds defence. Don't try to just throw it about all the time.
Penalty again. to the Tigers, holding down in the tackle.
The Tigers have got to go for the post, pull in this defence and then get the link working.
Jewett gets the ball away to Millington! And Millington will score for the Tigers. The South Stand are booing. The other end are going crackers. And Grant Millington, with the try, has thrown Castleford Tigers a massive lifeline. The captain, Kevin Sinfield, sent off. Within minutes, the Tigers over for a try. An outlet, it wasn't. It was a hand in there and a strip.
Yeah, no doubt about it. This is the incident. Completely lost the plot.
The worse that gets, the more you see it.
Yeah, Kevin Sinfield, and rightly so by Ben Taylor. He had no option. But this was a good way to run onto the ball. Boy, Millington was never going to be stopped. This is... Maguire went for him. You've got to really be thinking all the time in this game of rugby league. And I'm afraid Maguire gave them the opportunity. Then they gave another penalty. Maguire had come out of the line. They're down to 12 men and the Rhinos. Millington, and what about pressure from this guy? Surely he can't miss this. Can he?
So Mark Sneed, with the boos of the South Stand ringing in his ears, can he hold his composure and level the scores? Yes. 24 points apiece. And we're just checking here what the possible sentence grade for the headbutt would be by Kevin Sinfield. It could be as bad as 4 to 8 matches. We're just looking at the way that the headbutt is described. It could be 4 to 8 games that Kevin Sinfield might miss if they find that he does have a case to answer, and being sent off, of course, he most certainly does. So it could be a sea change in the season for Brian McDermott, Kevin Sinfield and the Leeds Rhinos.
This
and here goes Darryl Clark.
He's been unbelievable. He has loosened this game up. Do Cass go for long shots? They are.
Sneed.
They've got to get in a good position. They've got to get within 35 metres, then go for the 1 point.
Jewett.
Oh no, he's lost it.
Yes, he has. Wasn't reached away. 2 in 1. It was a knock-on by Lee Jewett. Big week for him. 2-year contract signed, and then this.
Well, I can't believe how Castleford have not that allowing Leeds to put that scrum down. And surely they'd be walking away. They didn't get away with it, but there's the push. Not allowed to do that. Not allowed to strike for the ball. Not allowed to push.
You are allowed to push, aren't you? You are allowed to push. You can't strike for the ball until it's come in.
He did indicate that the ball just came straight back out. I think that wasn't why he reset. I think the ball just bounced back out of the tunnel.
They were pushing again there, but the ball has arrived at Tom Briscoe. Well, 2.5 minutes remaining.
Well, Maguire has done it several times before. They had the opportunity. They squandered those opportunities. Did the Rhinos for that 1 point, but you can guarantee, keep your eye on Danny Maguire.
Yes, Danny's still out there. He's behind this play the ball, but they're going further forward with Delaney and going wide. They might bring it back to the middle now.
Yeah, Jamie Jones Buchanan.
Up the middle he goes.
This is it, boys.
Where is Maguire? He's there. Oh, Peacock. Peacock. No.
What on earth are they doing?
Well, they passed it to the wrong player.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
It wasn't a bad effort.
He can't believe it. Maguire saying, why did you give it to him?
8 minutes ago, we were raving about Leeds' composure. Since a one pass there late in the play, this is an outrageously bad play under pressure in a big moment. And this game isn't over.
Rothborough made the pass. He saw it was going to, and he put his hands up in the air in surrender. It's not over. Here come Castleford.
They won't miss it. Don't worry about that. They will not.
Clark.
Another great run from Clark.
It's desperate defence from Leeds. Oh, and Clark as he pulled. No, he's twisted the ankle.
Well, it's called time off as Ben Thaler. Boy, we talk about the players giving everything. I must say that Ben Thaler's had a lot to do, and he's one of the major reasons why we've had such an outstanding free-flowing game. Very rarely has he got people for offside, etc. They've been so disciplined. Well, this will be...
It was the roll, wasn't it? It was the tackle and the roll, and his foot was trapped under Jamie Peacock.
Wait there, please, guys.
What you're trying to do here is generate a quick play of the ball. You have to find something to get a quick play of the ball so you can get a good pass to your kicker somewhere around the middle of the field and get that field goal shot away now.
Well, they're a long way away, courtesy of that Leeds defence. A long way away. Dawn is 40 metres back. Sneed is as well. Never got off the ground. And I think he's saying, play on. Haraki just could not keep his feet. And Leeds rushed to the scrum.
Yeah, they've got it there. They called time off. Oh, it was a shocker. He really wasn't prepared for it. Luke Dawn has had an outstanding match. Well, we know what's going to happen here, don't we? It's going to be a run from the scrum base. One play the ball, and Maguire will go for the big one. Make sure Rob Barrow actually picks him out this time.
Maguire finds Watkins. Callum Watkins. Ball fired into midfield.
And that's a knock-on.
And it's a free play. The referee will bring it back for the scrum, and now it's Castleford's turn to race to form the scrum.
Well, they've got, what, 9 seconds remaining. Now, this is where surely Leeds and that man, Brian McDermott, will say, get the fullback back. Surely Cass are going to kick from the scrum base with only 9 seconds remaining. That's the only thing left for them. They can't afford to have a play the ball. Well, and they haven't dropped it. You know, Hardaker's not gone back.
A draw would be a very fair result, I must say, but Castleford are not interested in that at the moment. And here comes Shenton. Now it's with Oliver Holmes. There's the final siren. The ball is dumped down. It's picked up by Joel Moon, and it's given then to Ayton. And here is, I was going to say, here is Jamie Jones Buchanan, but it isn't. It is all over. The spoils are shared. 24 points each. And a match, well, that I suppose in many ways did not deserve a winner. And a match that will go down in the annals because Kevin Sinfield, King Kevin of Headingley, has been shown the red card by referee Ben Thaler. And that could have massive repercussions for him between now and the end of the season, depending what grade of offence the disciplinary commission decide to charge him with. Unbelievable game at Headingley. And all square. The first draw here for 20 years between these two sides. Carl Ablett, think he's got the man of the match, think he's got the nod. Here he is talking to Rod.
Carl, it's an incredible game. Just first of all, just reflect on the fact that it's ended up in a draw after a helter-skelter 80 minutes.
Yeah, that's what rugby's all about, you know, that high-intensity game. And but it was a great game to watch because it was a great game to play, you know, and real arm wrestle, and probably a fair result is a draw, and you know, just a little bit scratchy towards the end, lacked a little bit of composure, so yeah, probably draws a fair result there.
Why weren't you able to put them away? As you said, a lack of composure perhaps from a team that's won so many grand finals in recent years.
Yeah, just, you know, the passes won't stick here. We seem to push in a few, and you know, they're a good team as well. I can't take it away from them. They defended well, and as I said, we've got a point, and you know, move on to next week.
Okay, thanks, Carl. You move level on points with Saints at the top of the table. Well done.
Cheers, thanks.
Luke Dawn's here. Luke, first of all, look, I mean, the game itself would make headlines, but you know what is going to make the headlines is the fact that Kevin Sinfield got sent off. What on earth happened there?
Oh, mate, it just gets heated in games, doesn't it? We got up and had a few nice words to say to each other, and you know, it just happened. Sometimes these things happen on the field.
What was your reaction to it? Because I mean, it was just an incredible sort of, you know, what's going on here. We've never seen anything like that from Kevin Sinfield.
No, I've never seen it before. You can probably tell by the shock on my face. I was quite surprised, but you know, that's footy. You get heated and you do some things, and you know, nothing in it.
Let's talk about the game, because incredible fight back from Castleford, because it was tit for tat. This is a game that really lays the marker down that you are the real deal. People keep saying you might melt away, but not so.
Yeah, definitely. I think, it's finals footy. We're getting close to that, and if we keep playing where we are, we're going to be in games like this. So we've got to be better. And we had opportunities to win. I think we got that try got robbed off us. I don't know how many times it's going to happen to us, but we put that to bed there. I think we win the game.
You're right in the mix. You are the man of the match. Thanks for talking to us, Luke.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Luke Dawn was the man of the match, but as Rod said in his questions, the big news, of course, is that in this 24-all draw, the skipper, for the first time in his career, we think, Kevin Sinfield sent off. And now then, we're having a look here at the charges. A to B makes light contact with the head. C, full contact. E to F makes full contact in an aggressive or violent manner. The disciplinary committee will have to make the choice. Well, here's the full-time score. Leeds 24, Castleford 24, and the story behind the scoreboard is that Kevin Sinfield sent off tonight as Leeds Rhinos go top of the table on points difference above St Helens. A 24-all draw. It could have been a Castleford win. Darryl Powell's their coach. He's with Rod.
Darryl, thanks for coming out to talk to us so soon after the full-time siren. Just give us your reaction, because it was an incredible game to watch. What's the coach's perspective?
Well, it was a great game. I mean, it was pretty tense, and we couldn't really apply the pressure that we wanted to at the end of our sets, but I thought we were superb tonight, with and without the ball. Just a fantastic effort from 1 to 17. Thought we probably deserved to win the game, but it was tight. It was a real close one. Obviously disappointed with that disallowed try. I don't really understand what's going on at the minute, and hopefully I'll get some answers.
The Carney try you're talking about there. Do you feel, well, we don't know what would have happened, but do you feel you would have won had that been given?
No, well, you don't know, because that could have changed the flow of the game, so you don't really know. I just think we're going in the wrong direction at the minute, and I think something needs to change, because I think I speak for most of the coaches. They're not happy with the way it's going, and I think something has to be done to make sure that we get better outcomes.
Thanks, Darryl. You're right in the mix of the top five there. Thanks for talking to us.
Cheers. Thank you.
Yeah, they are in the mix, and Leeds are top of the table tonight, which we'll prove to you now on points difference, massive points difference, better than St Helens. Castleford, courtesy of that point, up to third, but for how long, with Wigan, Warrington and the rest all having to play over the weekend. OK, lots to talk about tonight. We probably haven't got time for it all, but Brian and John, have a bash.
And we're going to start talking about that try that was disallowed, start of the second half, 18 all at this stage. 40 seconds in, John. Darryl Powell says it should have been a try. I agree with him. Talk us through it.
This is the play. OK, now, first thing to make a point of is what we're looking at here is Watkins and Shenton. There's minimal contact. The question is, would Watkins have been able to do anything anyway because of Dawn's pass to Carney? I've got another question for you. If this pass from Sneed here goes straight to Carney, you look at Briscoe. Briscoe's already facing in. I don't think he's going to go in. And would we have referred that, given the chance?
For those exact reasons, I agree, and would have given this try.
Let's have a look at this, though. There is minimal contact. But I think, look at Dawn's hands here. Look where Briscoe is anyway. I don't think...
Briscoe's made his decision to come in on Dawn. He's left Carney. That try, I believe, should have been allowed. Look, that was disallowed. What happened then was the Leeds Rhinos started knocking on the door for the next 15 minutes. Castleford goal line defence was absolutely outstanding. On 4 occasions that I counted, they were able to keep Leeds Rhinos out.
2 I've picked out from here. First of all, Liam Finn. Have a look at Liam Finn here. He knows he's going to be out-muscled by Joel Moon. He goes for the ball. Ball, wrapped up ball. Ball is all he's thinking. That's what you get taught in training. That's what you spend the hours and hours and hours doing. No longer about stopping the person's momentum. It's about securing the ball. Second one, Kirk Dixon. Even more intelligent for me. Darryl Powell talked about composure at the end of sets in attack. Look at this for composure here in defence. Backs off the catch because he's knows he's not going to beat Hall in the air, and then able to get hold of Moon and drag him over to touch with the ball as well. Superb.
The great side that Leeds Rhinos are, they knocked back on the 59th minute and scored through Carl Ablett, and then we had, I guess, 6 minutes of madness in the last dying minutes of this game. And the first thing I've got to ask you about is Kevin Sinfield. We've never seen this from him before.
Well,
and this could be costly.
I think Luke Dawn has summed it up very well and said, generally the players, they kind of leave that sort of thing on the field, but the crown slipped, didn't it, for a moment there? I mean, you know, King Kev is a fantastic ambassador for our game, but I think
Castleford were able to take advantage of it. That's what will please Darrell.
They got the extra man, and here's the man. Here's Leeds. It celebrated a new contract deal this year, and there's Millington going through the gap. Millington, obviously, as well, very nearly grounded a ball earlier. He'd be very, very pleased to get over for that very important try for the Tigers.
24-all in a landmark game for Castleford Tigers and Darrell Powell. Eddie, brilliant result. Brian McDermott, actually, now. He's talking to Rod Studd.
Brian, thanks for coming out to talk to us. We appreciate your time. I'd love to ask you all about a game of rugby league tonight, but I have to ask you, the Kevin Sinfield thing that staggered everybody. What was your reaction to that?
It's uncharacteristic, isn't it? He's played hundreds upon hundreds of games, and Kev gets run at, gets spotted up, gets singled out every single time he plays because he's such an influential player. And you know, just for one brief moment in all those minutes of all those hours of all those games that he's played, he's just lost it a little bit. And he's just made an apology to the players in there. There'll be nobody hurting any more than Kev at the moment.
Does he know what possessed him? I mean, of all the people you'd see doing that, Kevin Sinfield will be last on the list.
Well, you know, he's probably one of the most mentally strong blokes, you know, that I've ever known that plays the game. And you know, when it starts to get to the sharp end of the year, it's those that can hold the nerve the most. And Kev's an expert at that. And you know, that's why it's he'd be really disappointed, Kev, that he himself has breached that discipline that he's had for such a long time. So, you know, what's that? His first infringement ever, is it? You know, so it's. You know, I don't think Dawn is going to be walking about with a bruised head for too long, is he? He's just probably touched heads with him, but you know, the right call from the ref.
We appreciate answering the questions, Brian. Let me ask you about the game, because it's a tremendous game to watch. You couldn't quite nail it down in the end. What's your reaction to a draw that does take you top of the table?
Listen, Castleford great. Cass defended great. We attacked their try line on numerous occasions and couldn't get them. I thought we had a couple of periods defensively in that first half where we were soft. You know, and pretty much, you know, we talked about what their threats are, and you know, it's one thing knowing what they're going to do, it's another thing stopping it. But yeah, good contest, and I don't want to say that we were off, and you know, and that's why Castleford got the draw. It was Castleford a good team. You know, they're the real deal, aren't they? Yeah. You know, they're not here for just a little bit of a blip of a moment. They'll be a good team.
Thanks for joining us, Brian. We do appreciate it.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you, Brian.
Well, honesty is the best policy, and it always is when Brian McDermott comes to the microphone, and he was really, really honest about everything there. A great game of rugby league, but isn't it amazing the way this sport throws up the headlines, and Kevin Sinfield getting sent off? I mean, I'm in shock. I'm sure the Leeds supporters are in shock. The team's in shock. Kevin will be in shock.
Sometimes the pressure can get even to the best. You know, you just don't expect it. But I must say that it certainly warranted the red card. It just completely lost the plot. And, you know, we're only human beings. And the pressure tonight was absolutely amazing. It was frantic. It was, as we said, we mentioned, it was like a basketball game. You know, one end and then back to the other, etc. and so forth. Great for the fans. But I think both coaches they'll be aching inside because they know they had the opportunity to control that game. And it looked as though everything was going right. We mentioned the fact that Kevin Sinfield taking it on the blind side, kicking to the corner. They knew they had that 6-point lead. He was doing everything right. And all of a sudden, poof, rush of blood. Everything changes.
I don't think, though, we should focus too much on the Kevin Sinfield sending off, because for me that game was about Castleford and an amazing performance from them. I didn't believe that they could win this game coming here tonight. I know they didn't in the end. Perhaps they deserved to, in my opinion. Darrell Powell agreed with that. But I didn't believe you could go from third bottom to third top in the space of a season. They've done it so far, and they're quite capable of getting to the grand final.
Well, they are. I mean, it was a sensational match from start to finish. I love the first half. I love the aggression and the defence of the second half. Leeds have gone top. Is that a consolation to them tonight?
Yeah, without a doubt. There's no doubt about it. And even though everybody's hurting and whatever, and it's typical of Kevin Sinfield, he just said one thing, sorry to his players. And he will be sorry, but they've got away with 1 point. And that could be important.